Chapter 364. Recently, Zhang Liang's days have been hard. Xiao Yin found that he had a big temper. His smiling face gradually became gloomy. Like a poisonous scorpion, he often stared at the people around him. Xiao Yin felt that he was suspicious of everyone around him, including himself. Recently, some customers who had already talked business with Zhang Liang have asked for a return, and his goods have been blacklisted by several surrounding cities. Even he himself has been posted on the streets and alleys. It was said everywhere that he sold poison, the kind of poison that can kill people. They were directly blown out of Tuchingerth City that day. In the evening, Tuchingerth City's lord and Zhang Liang called each other brothers. They were in the brothel for a whole night. The next day, they were going to sign the agreement. Unexpectedly, the news from outside the city scared Tuchingerth City's lord. He rushed directly to Zhang Liang's inn and picked him up from the bed. "The sugar pill you sold me is poison?" Zhang Liang naturally refused to admit it. But whether he admits it or not, the thorn in Tuchingerth City's lord's heart is planted. The seed of doubt is growing bigger and bigger, and has grown into a towering tree in his heart. He is the city lord of a city. He does not want his people in the city to die in the hands of his decision. He simply broke the contract and drove Zhang Liang and his party out. Finally, Tuchingerth City's lord said, "Even if my food is rotten and fed to the dog, it will not be cheap for you, a liar." Looking at the tightly closed city gate behind him, Zhang Liang was shaking, and the veins on his face were straight. He had never experienced such treatment. He was the only one who harmed others, when it was others' turn to harm him. He gloomily got on the carriage and went to other cities with a group of people. But other cities are even more excessive. His men saw Zhang Liang's portrait at the gate of the city. He was so scared that he immediately ran back and reported to Zhang Liang, "Master, you are wanted in this city. I don't think you should go in." Zhang Liang didn't believe it. He sent Xiao Yin to investigate again. Xiao Yin made a mark in the corner and nodded to Zhang Liang when he came back. Zhang Liang's face turned even darker. Everything that had been going smoothly had been ruined just like that. Although he already knew that these people would be poisoned one day, he didn't expect that they would find out about him so quickly. He couldn't avoid the few cities that he went to. In the end, he had no choice but to return to his old nest, Huadu City. He did not promote his poison pills on a large scale here, because this was his own world. Other than a few people he had to control, such as Xiao Yin, everything was so happy and peaceful. However, no matter how closed the city gates were, there was still information coming in from the outside. The news of Zhang Liang selling drugs in other places had somehow reached City Lord Kai's ears. The first one to come to Zhang Liang was the second prince of the demon realm. Xiao Yin was now a true first-class servant. After returning to Flower Capital, he followed Zhang Liang back to the manor. What was slightly different from before was that he finally had a room of his own. It was in a side courtyard beside Zhang Liang's main house. The way the rest of the family looked at Xiao Yin had changed substantially. Even the housekeeper who had slapped him sent gifts as an apology. He asked about his well-being and was warm and considerate, making Xiao Yin feel as if the housekeeper had changed into a different person. On this day, he had just woken up and was about to greet Zhang Liang when he saw the housekeeper leading a person to Zhang Liang's main house in a hurry. This person's face was full of malice. The atmosphere was so gloomy that it seemed like dark clouds had already covered his head. He hurriedly followed the housekeeper to the door. The housekeeper knocked 3 times, only to hear Zhang Liang's leisurely reply, "Wait." This person pushed the housekeeper away and kicked the door. Then he rushed in. The housekeeper opened his mouth, but didn't say a word. Xiao Yin happened to be at the door. Seeing this scene, he couldn't help but widen his eyes. He quietly asked the housekeeper, "Who is this person?" The housekeeper shook his head gently, meaning that this person couldn't be offended. Xiao Yin could only wait at the door with the housekeeper. Just as this person kicked the door open, a woman's scream came from the door. Then, a woman with disheveled clothes was chased out of the room. Then the door closed. Zhang Liang, and that person didn't come out of the room for the whole morning. Xiao Yin and the housekeeper stood at the door. They heard knocking sounds coming from inside, as if something heavy was slamming against the wall. In the end, it fell to the ground, followed by the sound of tables and chairs shattering. After that person walked out of the room, the housekeeper and Xiao Yin went in to take a look. It was a mess inside. All the furniture was broken. The bed in the room was split in half. Zhang Liang was only wearing his underwear and bleeding from the corner of his mouth. He was sitting by the wall in a sorry state. The housekeeper and Xiao Yin quickly went forward to help Zhang Liang up, but Zhang Liang didn't appreciate it at all. He pushed their hands away and stood up with difficulty. The housekeeper hurriedly brought a chair over, and Zhang Liang sat on it. He wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth with one hand and stared at Xiao Yin and the housekeeper with the other two hawk-like eyes. No one is allowed to speak of today's matter. Otherwise, all of you will be executed. The housekeeper lowered his head and said, I'll call a doctor for you. No need. Bring my medicine over, and bring the medicine box over. Bandage my wounds and tidy up the room. The housekeeper nodded in agreement. After the wounds were treated, the housekeeper and Xiao Yin carried Zhang Liang to another main room. Everything finally returned to normal. Xiao Yin then asked the housekeeper, Who is that person? Why did he dare to hit Mr. Zhan? That's the second prince of the demon world. He's the true master. Xiao Yin couldn't help but feel strange. Why do we, the people of the demon world, have to listen to the orders of the demon world? The housekeeper lowered his head and didn't say anything. After a while he said, This is Mr. Zhan's own choice. Xiao Yun's father had once introduced the existence of the 6 realms to him. The demon world and the demon world had always been at odds. The demon world was truly filled with demons and ghosts. They wanted to persecute others for fun. There was no reason to speak of. He couldn't figure out. Even if Zhang Liang wanted to rebel, make money, and harm others with drugs, he was still from the demon world. Why would he become an accomplice of the demon world? It wasn't until night that Zhang Liang's injuries improved. He called a few of his capable subordinates to the study for a secret talk. Xiao Yin stood to the side. I received a tip that the crown prince and crown princess have already arrived in Shadu. Our business was destroyed by them. Moreover, they have already left Shadu. I heard that they are going out to look for someone. Go to Shadu now and carefully find out who they are looking for. Then we must find him first. During this period of time, all external contact is to be suspended. Everyone is to withdraw and hide in the dark. After the crown prince and crown princess leave, we will plan for the future. Everyone obeyed and left. Xiao Yun's back was already drenched in sweat. He also wanted to leave the study with the others, but he didn't expect Zhang Liang to stop him. Xiao Yun, go get a few jars of wine and ask the kitchen to make a few dishes. Xiao Yin had no choice but to bring a few jars of wine over. After the dishes were served, Zhang Liang had no intention of letting him go, so he could only stand to the side and serve. Seeing Zhang Liang drinking cup after cup, Zhang Liang stared at Xiao Yin. Sit down and drink with me. Xiao Yin shook his head. I'm still young. I don't know how to drink. You promised me that you wouldn't force me to drink. Zhang Liang narrowed his eyes dangerously. You dare to resist me? You have been by my side for some time. I admire your wit and talent, so I kept you by my side. But you have to know that I want my people to obey me absolutely. Otherwise, no matter how capable you are, I won't use you. Sit down and drink for me. Xiao Yin still wanted to refuse, but when he saw Zhang Liang's slightly tipsy and dangerous eyes, he knew that if he resisted now, only death would await him. He could only sit down, pick up the wine cup, and take a sip. The pungent smell of alcohol flowed down his throat and into his stomach, causing Xiao Yin to feel extremely uncomfortable. He coughed violently, and at the same time, he kept fanning his mouth with his hand. Zhang Liang laughed loudly. Just a small sip, and it's already so spicy. He pulled Xiao Yin to his side and forcefully hooked his neck. He picked up the wine cup in front of him and poured it into Xiao Yin's mouth. Xiao Yin couldn't resist at all. At this time, Zhang Liang's eyes were already red. He strangled Xiao Yin's neck and smiled cruelly. Because he drank too quickly, he couldn't drink the wine at all. It flowed down the corner of his mouth and soaked the clothes on Xiao Yin's chest. Xiao Yin struggled with all his might. At this time, he didn't care whether Zhang Liang would kill him or not. He only knew that he was on the verge of death. His neck was in pain from being strangled, and Zhang Liang's ferocious face was magnified in front of his eyes. Zhang Liang kept shouting, "Drink for me. If you don't drink this jar today, don't think about leaving this door." Zhang Liang was like a madman. At this time, he had completely vented all the grievances he suffered during the day on Qiao Yun. Seeing Qiao Yun flailing his limbs and struggling in his hands with a pained expression on his face, he felt extremely satisfied. If he was unhappy, why should he let others be happy? He wanted to torture Qiao Yun and let him experience what pain was. Just like this, although more than half of the jar of wine was poured out, Zhang Liang still drank a small part of it. When he finally finished, Zhang Liang let go of Qiao Yun. At this time, Qiao Yun was lying on the table. He used his hand to cover his neck and desperately tried to pull it out. Then, large mouthfuls of wine were pulled out from his throat, and he vomited all over the ground. Zhang Liang looked at Qiao Yun dangerously and slapped him. "You actually dare to vomit the wine I gave you." Qiao Yun was slapped into the corner of the table. His forehead was hit and blood flowed down. When Zhang Liang saw that there was blood, he became even more excited. He picked up a wine jar, stepped on the table with one foot, and boldly drank the entire jar. Then, he threw the wine jar on the ground, and the broken pieces splattered all over Qiao Yun. Chapter 365. Zhang Liang picked up the biggest piece of porcelain and said to Qiao Yun, "Look at that birthmark on your face. It's such an eyesore. I'll help you dig it out. You don't need to be pointed at by others anymore." After saying that, he picked Qiao Yun up from the ground and was about to cut his face. Qiao Xiao and Yanran ran around the surrounding cities. Some of the cities had marks left by Qiao Yun, but some of them couldn't be found. The two of them didn't dare to spread Qiao Yun's portrait everywhere, nor did they dare to say who they were looking for. They could only rely on the two of them to search. The two of them followed the marks left by Qiao Yun and circled around. Today, they found that the city in front of them was very familiar. It was the flower capital that they had been to before. It seemed that Qiao Yun and Zhang Liang had returned to their nest. Yanran looked at the tightly closed city gate in front of them and said to Qiao Xiao, "Is the gate closed?" Qiao Xiao looked at the city and saw that it wasn't as crowded as before. It was bustling with activity. At this time, the city gate was tightly closed. There was no one going in or out. The number of soldiers on the city gate tower seemed to have doubled. The city was in a state of war. Looking at the very unusual flower capital, Yanran and Xiao Xiao quickly hid in the dark. They waited until night time. The sky covered all the strange movements. Even the moonlight hid in the clouds. The two of them quietly came to the city gate. Xiao Xiao silently chanted the incantation in his heart. The power of the totem was activated. A camouflage spell appeared in front of the soldier's eyes. After that, Xiao Xiao and Yanran quickly flew up the city wall like two wild geese. Then, the two of them quickly reached the top of the city wall. After a few minutes, the two of them landed on the streets of Flower Capital. The Flower Capital was brightly lit. It was noisy. People came and went on the streets. Most of them were drunkards. They were all heading to the most lively brothels and casinos. Xiao Xiao said to Yanran, "Why do I feel like everyone here is drunk? None of them are normal." Yanran looked around vigilantly. "You're right. The people here are not like the other cities in the Devil Realm. They're not simple at all. They're all playful and greedy for enjoyment. There are no fields or forests around them. I don't even know how he survived." Just as the two of them were strolling around, there were a few drunkards not far from them. They were fooling around as they walked towards the brothel. One of them accidentally fell to the ground, and his tongue suddenly stretched out and wrapped around the other person's neck. Xiao Xiao was shocked. What kind of monster is this? Yanran was also shocked. Why did I feel that he looked like a toad? His tongue is thin and long. Is it used to catch mosquitoes? Xiao Zhao's mind suddenly came up with a bold guess. Could it be that this person is from the demon realm? Xiao, how do you know if he's from the demon realm or the demon realm? Yanran asked. The people of the demon realm were generally simple-minded. They worshipped strength. The majority of them were demon beasts. The demon realm had some insects or plants that, after many years of cultivation, turned into humans. Of course, There were also some animals, such as snakes or rats, that could turn into snake demons or rat spirits. The majority of the demon realm's people were humans. There were also some that were formed from fierce beasts. After hearing Xiao Zhao's words, Yanran couldn't help but turn pale with fright. Could it be that the flower capital has been taken over by the demon realm? Most of the people here are demon beasts. Xiao Zhao's eyes darkened as she looked at the person in front of her. After a while, she stood up and retracted her tongue. Then, she smacked her lips and growled, "You reek of alcohol and sweat. How filthy." The other person next to him scolded him. "Who can you blame? Who told you to use your tongue? If you wanted to grab me with your hands, there wouldn't be a problem." Just like that, the few of them walked into the brothel next to them while bickering. Xiao Xiao and Yanran also went in. The brothel here was very large. It basically took up more than half of the shops in the city. The brothel was divided into two types, brothel and brothel. Yanran suddenly said in fear, "Our son is so handsome. Will he be sent to a brothel?" Xiao Zhao's heart sank. There was no news of his son for so long. "No, don't think too much. Our son is very smart. He will definitely be able to protect himself." Yanran looked at Xiao Xiao with fear in her eyes. Xiao, let's go take a look." Xiao Xiao nodded. So the two of them disguised themselves and went to the largest brothel in the city. The two of them came at the right time. There was an auction tonight. The front and back of the brothel were full of people. The guests were both men and women. They did not shy away from shouting at each other below the stage. The waiters on the stage only wore a simple veil to cover their important parts. They were just waiting for people to choose and shout their prices. The oldest was probably 15 or 16 years old, and the youngest was 8 or 9 years old. The people below the stage were all adult men and women. A few of them were especially fierce. They almost broke into a bloody fight with the waiters they had their eyes on. Xiao Xiao and Yanran didn't watch their drama from the front. Instead, they quietly snuck into the backstage and checked the waiters one by one. They didn't see anyone from the auction. They went to every room, and even the kitchen staff. They checked carefully and didn't see Qiao Yin. And when they passed by every room, they saw all kinds of scenes inside. It was simply unbearable to look at. All the waiters were tortured very badly. Some were directly hung up and beaten. Some rooms were filled with blood. There was also a room where a group of people was torturing a person. Xiao Xiao really had the urge to rush in, but he held back. He knew that he could not be exposed, but he also felt sad for the fate of these waiters. Then they went to the next brothel. There were a total of 40 to 50 brothel in this area. The situation was very similar in every brothel. The waiters inside were all tortured very badly. Later they saw a backyard at the back. They originally thought that someone would be locked up there. But when they went in, they found that it was a place where corpses were piled up. All the naked corpses were piled up together. After the people of the demon world died, their true forms would be revealed. Some of the corpses were already deformed. It was impossible to tell that they were human. But Xiao Xiao knew at a glance that the dead people were all people of the demon world. These people's deaths were also very miserable. Just as the two of them were about to take a closer look, they did not expect that there would be movement behind them. They saw two people carrying a corpse in, and then like throwing away a rag, they directly piled the corpse inside. Xiao Xiao saw that the person had just died and had not changed shape. It was the waiter that he and Yanran saw being tortured by a group of people in a room just now. Xiao Xiao was already trembling with anger. How is this a brothel? This is simply a concentration camp. By the time they finished checking, the sky was already bright. The two of them directly asked for a room in the brothel to stay, and directly knocked out the waiters who came in to serve them. Yanran, I discovered a very strange thing. We just walked through so many small official halls, and I found that every little boy seemed to have the aura of a person from the devil realm. As for the people in charge, their aura was very faint. I have a bold guess. Could it be that the people in power in Flower City have already become people of the demon world? And now the people of the lower class are all people of the demon world? I had this bold guess just now, but I didn't dare to say it to you. If that is the case, then this city is already destroyed. Yanran said sadly, this group of sons of bitches, I will not forgive them. They don't even see the people of the demon world as people. When did the people of the demon world get to ride on top of the people of the demon world? Those waiters just now died too miserably. I'm worried that the brothel next door is also like this. Could it be that after this place was controlled, all the original people of the demon world were stuffed into the brothel for the people of the demon world to enjoy? Yinran, I really can't stand it anymore. I will immediately mobilize the army and destroy this entire city. Now it seems that the city lord here is not a good thing. That day he was with the second prince of the demon world. It proves that he has already betrayed the demon world. I think we should kill him first, and then we will go find Zhang Liang. When the dragon has no leader, it is the most difficult time for the bad guys. At that time, we will let the army come and attack the city. Okay, I will immediately meet up with the city lord and bring the army to camp outside the city. As long as you give the order, we will immediately attack the city. The two no longer hesitated and moved separately. Xiao Xiao flew out of the city to mobilize the army, and Yinran went directly to the city lord's mansion. A one-sided massacre was about to begin. Yinran didn't hide her strength anymore. She directly flew into the air and shuttled through the streets of Flower City. In the daytime, there were very few people on the streets. Most of the people were sleeping in their own homes. Yinran flew through several streets before she caught a person. She asked for the location of the city lord's mansion. Very quickly, she arrived at the most conspicuous residence in the entire Flower City, the city lord's mansion. At this time, the city lord's mansion seemed to have just fallen asleep. After a night of noise, the crowd finally quieted down. Even the servants guarding the door were sitting on the ground and dozing off. In order to save time, Yinran directly strangled a person's neck and asked him where the city lord was. The person was still in a daze and didn't react. He directly said to her, "The office starts in the afternoon. Get lost, get lost." Yinran directly tightened her grip. The person only woke up when his face was red, and he couldn't breathe. He covered his neck with his hand, looked at Yinran in fear, and pointed to his throat. Yinran loosened her grip a little, only to hear the person choking out. City Lord Kai went to the side courtyard. Yinran thought back to the side courtyard where Lady Kai celebrated her birthday. Without hesitation, she knocked the person out and quickly rushed to the side courtyard. But who would have thought that Yinran would miss the chance to see the second prince in the city lord's mansion? Chapter 366. Xiao Yin encountered the biggest crisis since he was captured by the human traffickers. Seeing the porcelain shard about to land on his face, he did not close his eyes in fright. Instead, he released all the spirit energy in his body. At the same time, he let go of Zhang Liang's hand and grabbed an unopened wine jar on the table. With a bang, he smashed it on the back of Zhang Liang's head. Zhang Liang's body stiffened. Although his hands did not stop moving, he had already loosened his grip. Following that, Xiao Yin forcefully pried open his hands, raised his leg, and kicked Zhang Liang's body forcefully. Zhang Liang's entire body fainted and fell backwards. Xiao Yin squatted on the ground and gasped for breath. After a while he recovered. He stood up and picked up the porcelain shard on the ground and walked towards Zhang Liang. His hands were trembling. He had never killed anyone before. At this moment, he was struggling in his heart whether to kill Zhang Liang or not. Walking in front of Zhang Liang, he placed the porcelain shard on his neck. With just one move, the blood from the carotid artery would spray all over his face. Xiao Yin raised his hand high up, but it was trembling nonstop. He closed his eyes, but at the last moment his hand slid across his neck. Then, he threw away the porcelain shard and took the token to go out from Zhang Liang's body. He rushed out of the room. When he passed by the guard, Xiao Yin took out the token in his hand and finally escaped from the manner that made him feel suffocated. After Xiao Yin ran out, he quickly ran towards the city gate. But when he got close, he found that the city gate was completely closed. It was already late at night. Xiao Yin could only wait at the gate, waiting for the city gate to open the next morning. Xiao Yin curled up in a corner beside the city gate. This was a dark corner. There was no one around. It was dark with only the night as company. At this moment, Xiao Yun's body was completely soaked. Wine mixed with sweat all stuck to his body. When the cold wind blew, his body felt cold. Xiao Yun was frightened for an entire night. He was extremely tired. After a while, he fell asleep in the darkness. After sleeping for an unknown period of time, Xiao Yun was awakened by the sound of rolling wheels. Many people were already pushing their carts and lining up outside the city gate. Xiao Yun rubbed her eyes and saw that the sky was already bright. Xiao Yun immediately got up and stood in the line, waiting to leave the city. But after a while, Xiao Yun overheard the conversations of the people around her and learned that the city gates had been closed for several days. These people were lining up here just to try their luck. Perhaps the gates would open today. Xiao Yun watched as the sun gradually rose in the distance. The soldiers on the city gate had yet to make any moves, but the people around him had already begun cursing. He wasn't tall, and although he wasn't too conspicuous, Xiao Yun still felt that it was too dangerous to be under the sun. Sure enough, after a while, he saw someone dashing over from afar. Xiao Yun took a look and saw that it was Zhang Liang's subordinate. He cursed in his heart. It seemed that Zhang Liang had woken up and had already sent people to capture him. He quickly left the group and walked quickly to a row of paupers along the wall. It was the location of a smelly ditch along the city wall. The smell was truly unbearable. Xiao Yun covered his mouth and nose and walked in. He saw a row of simple houses built with bamboo rafts and covered with some thatch. Xiao Yun found a room and saw two people preparing to go out to work. Xiao Yun took advantage of the time when they went out to sneak in through a large gap in the door. After entering the room, he realized that other than a large wooden bed and a table, there was basically nothing else. There was only a thin blanket on the wooden bed, and there wasn't even a mattress or bedsheet. Xiao Yun planned to stay here for now. After Zhang Liang's men left, he would see how he could leave the city. He went straight to bed and slept. He couldn't do anything about his hunger. Only when he was asleep would he not want to eat. Xiao Yun slept all the way until night fell. Before he woke up, the family had already come back from work. They looked at Xiao Yun, who was lying on the bed, and felt strange. However, they didn't treat Xiao Yun as a thief, because there was nothing in their house that could be stolen. They looked at Xiao Yun's sorry state. Although his clothes were still neat, the strangulation marks on his neck were obvious. They guessed his identity. Perhaps he was a servant who couldn't stand the beating and scolding and escaped. Xiao Yun opened his eyes and saw a middle-aged man and woman in the room. They were sitting by his bed and packing their clothes. Xiao Yun was shocked and quickly bowed. "I'm sorry, uncles and aunties. I really have nowhere to go, so I came to your house to hide. I'll leave immediately." The middle-aged woman looked at him. "You're still young, right? Are you 6,000 years old?" Xiao Yun lowered his head and replied, "No, I'm still a little short." "Don't be afraid, child. We won't chase you away. Did someone want to send you to the brothel? Is that why you ran away?" Xiao Yun was about to say no, but then he thought about it. His experience was more or less the same, so he nodded. The middle-aged man slapped his thigh. "What a sin. As long as you're from the demon world, you're not treated like a human by these animals. Especially a handsome boy like you, they like you the most. You don't know how many of you have died." Xiao Yun was confused. "Sir, why do you say we're from the demon world? Aren't we all from the demon world?" The old man sneered. "Everyone from the demon world in Huadu lives at the lowest level. Their lives are worse than pigs and dogs. Look at where we live. It's always the smelliest place. We also do the lowest jobs. We're still considered good. The young men and women are even worse. As long as they're passable, they're all sent to brothels and brothels. Don't you see? Every day, just burning the bodies in the brothels and brothels takes half a day. We're in charge of burning the bodies." Xiao Yun listened in disbelief. "Aren't they afraid of breaking the law?" "What law? They're not from the demon world at all. How can they be governed by the demon world?" Xiao Yun was even more confused. "Why aren't they from the demon world?" The middle-aged woman stepped forward and said, "Child, you're too naive. I don't know where you're from, but the demon chi on your body is very pure. We know you're from the demon world, and Huadu has long become the world of the demon world. Those people you see with power are all demons." Xiao Yin was stunned. He knew the second prince of the demon world. Was Zhang Liang a demon too? And Kai Kwa and Madame Kai, who he met before, were they also demons? Xiao Yin muttered. Do the people of the demon world and the demon world look the same? The middle-aged man said. Hundreds of thousands of years ago, they looked different. But after generations of evolution, the people of the 6 realms can't tell them apart. They can only be distinguished when they transform into their original form. Also, they can be distinguished by smell. But not everyone can smell it. Child, you're still young. In the past, you could still enter and exit Huadu freely. But recently, for some reason, the city gates have been closed. You can't leave. If you can't leave, you can stay here with us. When the gates open again, you can escape. Xiao Yun bowed deeply to the couple. Thank you for saving my life, uncle and aunt. The two took out some food from their clothes. We don't have much to eat here. This is the only food we got today. Don't think it's too little. Just make do with it for now. Xiao Yun took the food from the old man's hand and ate it in small bites. The food was very hard, and it hurt his teeth when he bit it. Xiao Yun's heart ached as he chewed. The two were still young, but they had long stooped backs. They looked ugly, but they were kind. Xiao Yun's nose was filled with the smell of the sewer. His mouth was chewing on the hardest food, and the only thing that accompanied him was saliva. He did something wrong. He should have killed Zhang Liang. But after so many years in the human world, to a 10-year-old child, killing was a terrible thing. Master, we've searched the entire city. We didn't find any trace of Tai Dan. Zhang Liang was already dressed neatly in the study. The wounds on his body couldn't be seen, and no one could see his violent side. Sandalwood was burning leisurely in the study. A wisp of smoke curled around Zhang Liang's fingers. You've searched the entire city. Huadu is so big. How did you search? We searched from house to house. We asked the brothels and brothels to help us search. Tai Dan is very smart. With your intelligence, you might not be able to defeat him. Find an artist to draw Tai Dan's appearance and post it in the city. All the high officials and nobles will take my warrant and ask them to search on their own. Focus on the areas where the people of the demon world live. Then put up a reward. Anyone who reports clues will be rewarded with £100. Those who directly catch the real person, if their family members are in brothels or brothels, they can be released. Zhang Liang ordered casually. He didn't believe that this kid could escape from his hands. How many sugar pills does he have? The housekeeper stepped forward and replied. Normally there should be 3. Heh, then he can jump around for 3 more days. After 3 days, he will definitely come back to steal the sugar pills. Prepare yourselves. Set up an inescapable net. This time, see if I don't break his legs. Not long after, Xiao Yun's portrait was plastered all over the streets. Xiao Yun hid in the middle-aged couple's house and didn't go out. He didn't know that the entire city was searching for him. He dressed himself even darker and used a headscarf to cover his entire face. Occasionally, he would sneak out and look at the door to see if the city gates were open. But the city gates were tightly shut. He had no choice but to continue hiding. At this time, a person dashed in from outside the city. He took out a token and waved it. The city gates opened a crack and then quickly closed. This person didn't stop for a second. He didn't say a word to anyone and quickly ran into the city. Chapter 367. This person quickly rushed to Zhang Liang's manor. The guards didn't even see him clearly. They only saw a flashing token before he entered Zhang Liang's study. Zhang Liang was admiring Tai Dan's portrait. He said to the steward, "The artist this time did a good job. He's basically drawn out Xiao Yun's charm. Tai Dan looks good, but the birthmark on his face is too ugly." "Master, I found out what you ordered." The person panted. "The crown prince and the crown princess are looking for a 6,000-year-old boy in Huadu City. It's speculated that he's the little crown prince." "Oh." Zhang Liang turned around and looked at this person. "Is this information accurate?" "It's absolutely true. I secretly made a copy of their portraits. Please take a look." After speaking, he handed over a portrait. Zhang Liang took a look and was stunned. The steward also took a peek. He couldn't help but exclaim in surprise. Isn't this exactly the same as Tai Dan? Except for the missing birthmark. Zhang Liang's right fist was tightly clenched. He crushed the corners of the portrait. He slammed the portrait on the table. So the little crown prince of the demon world has always been by my side. Ha 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 ha, he hit it really well. I always felt that he looked familiar. Now that I've connected the dots, the boy in Demon City looks 80% like him. That boy was later confirmed to be the crown prince. It's not too late to find out. As long as he's still in Huadu City, I don't believe that he can escape. I'm going to find him myself. Yanran was still searching all over the city. Early this morning, she found that her son's portrait was plastered all over the streets. However, Xiao Yun's face in the portrait was painted with a large black birthmark. It seemed that his son was smart enough. He knew that his appearance was too eye-catching and used the birthmark to cover his face. But now it seemed that he had escaped. The last mark he left was in a dark corner beside the city gate. Yanran knew that he was very close to Xiao Yun. Zhang Liang immediately gave the order to search from house to house. Originally, he had left some face for those high officials and nobles. But now, he could no longer care about that. He had the entire village gather all the boys around 6,000 years old in the public square of Flower Capital. If anyone disobeyed the order, their entire family would be killed. The entire Flower City was filled with wailing and howling. The people of the demon realm were laughing and laughing. There was something fun to watch again. They wanted to take this opportunity to see if there were any pretty girls. A large group of boys were pulled out of the little perfume house. Some of them were disheveled and had only put on a piece of clothing before being pulled out. All the boys were standing in the square. Zhang Liang directly led the team and searched door to door. Everyone's house was turned into a mess. All the places that could hide people were opened or pried open. Not a single corner could be missed. When the middle-aged couple saw the scene outside, they were so scared that they quickly ran home. They said to Xiao Yun, Tai Dan, there are people everywhere outside who are trying to capture you. Who did you offend? Xiao Yun spoke the truth. I offended Zhang Liang. The two elders were about to go crazy. You can offend anyone, but you can't offend Zhang Liang. He's the emperor here, the representative of the demon realm. His words are 100 times more effective than Kaikua. Now it's bad. They've captured all the boys around 6,000 years old and brought them to the public square. I don't know what they're doing. They're here to capture me. If they find out that these boys aren't me, they'll probably let them go. The middle-aged couple thought about it and agreed. Then hurry up and hide here. The only place we can hide is under the bed. But I'm afraid that when they search here, they won't let go of the bed either. The middle-aged couple anxiously walked around the house. The middle-aged woman suddenly said, why don't we move a few large rocks over to block the entire bottom of the bed? You can hide inside. This way, they won't look carefully when they see that the entire bottom of the bed is covered with rocks. Old man, go outside and watch the situation. I'll hide Tai Dan first. Xiao Yun looked at the middle-aged couple gratefully. They treated him like their own child. The old woman said, Child, it turns out my child was the same age as you, but he was captured by these deranged people and taken to the brothel. Then he was gone. I don't know when the Devil Lord will come to save us. Our people here are living a life worse than death. While stuffing Xiao Yun under the bed, he also wiped his tears and covered the stone with his hands. The middle-aged man was already standing guard at the door and moving the rocks. The middle-aged woman stuffed the bottom of the bed full of rocks. Just as he hid, he heard the middle-aged man shout from the door, Someone's coming. A group of soldiers came towards their row of smelly gutters. Everyone covered their nose. What the hell is this place? Why is it so smelly? It must be smelly here. It's all left behind by the corpse water of the burned corpses. What bad luck. Hurry up, how can we hide people here? These people were not polite at all. A few of them spread out and kicked open the doors of this row of rooms. Everything in the room could be seen at a glance. Other than the bed, there was nothing else. The soldiers looked around carefully. They checked the bed, under the bed, and inside the cupboard, but they didn't find anything. The soldier who checked the middle-aged couple's room used his saber to hack at the rocks under the bed a few times. He asked angrily, Why are you stuffing so many rocks under the bed? The middle-aged woman hurriedly said, Sir, the legs of our bed are broken. We can only use rocks to prop it up. Otherwise, no one can sleep on this bed. The soldier hacked at the bed a few times with his saber. Immediately, a crack appeared. The middle-aged woman was so scared that her heart almost jumped out of her throat. Then, the soldier stabbed the bed a few times and found that it was stuck on the rocks. He cursed for a while more before finally turning around and leaving. The middle-aged woman hurriedly lowered her head and sent the soldier away. She returned to the room with the old man and immediately closed the door. She asked Xiao Yin through the bed, Child, are you okay? Xiao Yin replied in a muffled voice, It's nothing serious. It's just some scratches. Although Xiao Yin said that, when the steel saber came down, one of the sabers had swept through his hair. It was just a few millimeters away from his eyeball. He used the back of his hand to cover his face. The saber scraped past the back of his hand, and now the back of his hand was bloody. The middle-aged woman said, Child, don't move. We'll go out and see what's going on. Then he heard the sound of two people going out. Xiao Yin hid under the bed. There was only a little space. He curled up into a ball. He listened carefully to the movements outside. It was still very noisy. He didn't know who was walking outside. After about 2 hours, there was movement at the door again. The middle-aged woman stumbled in. After a while, the middle-aged man also ran back. The two of them were trembling, as if they had been greatly frightened. When the two of them entered the room, they didn't care that there was another person hiding under the bed. The two of them sat on the bed and hugged each other. The dust under the bed was shaken off by the two of them. After a while, Xiao Yin asked softly, Uncle, Auntie, did something happen? This sentence seemed to wake the two of them up. The middle-aged woman quickly said, Nothing. However, the old man said, They've started killing people. Sure enough, after a while, the sound of a gong being struck came from outside. Then, a few people on the street shouted together, Tai Dan, you can't escape. From now on, if you don't come out, we'll kill a boy in the square every 10 minutes. The two middle-aged men's faces were ashen. They didn't want to tell Xiao Yin, but they didn't expect that the streets were filled with people shouting. There was no way to hide it. Xiao Yin heard it too. He couldn't hide it anymore. He pushed away the stone in front of him and climbed out from under the bed. The middle-aged couple immediately panicked. They quickly pulled Xiao Yin back. Child, you can't go. You're going to die. Xiao Yin smiled faintly. Uncle, Auntie, do you know who I am? I'm the little prince of the demon realm. I can't watch my people being killed like this. If I don't go out, I'll be condemned for eternity. The middle-aged man and woman were shocked. They immediately knelt down. So it's the little prince. Then your life is even more valuable. You can't go out. Now that you know the situation here, you shouldn't go out to die. Instead, you should think of a way to save the people in this city. Even if I'm captured now, if they know my identity, I believe that they won't dare to kill me. I'll find another chance. Uncle, Auntie, don't worry. As long as I can escape, I'll definitely bring people to save you. No, little prince, you can't expose your identity. They're all outlaws who kill without blinking. They'll use you to negotiate with the demon realm. That way, you'll never see the light of day again. Xiao Yin recovered his bearing as the little prince. He smoothed out his dusty sleeves and then wiped away the birthmark on his face. The middle-aged couple saw that the originally dusty little face in front of them seemed to be glowing. The simple house was suddenly filled with a dazzling light. Xiao Yin's eyes were calm. As the little prince, I have responsibilities that I should bear. I can't let more people suffer because of my own safety. I believe that my parents will come to save me. Now let me go save those children who are my age. After saying that, Xiao Yin helped the two middle-aged men up. At the same time, he bowed deeply to them. Thank you for being willing to take me in these 2 days. You gave me a chance to breathe and let me know your difficulties. If I'm lucky enough to escape, I'll definitely come back to save you. So before I come back, please take care. After saying that, Xiao Yin listened to the movements outside, opened the door, and quickly went around the row of houses to the other side of the road. Then, with his head held high and his chest puffed out, he walked down the street in big strides. Chapter 368. The middle-aged couple didn't retract their outstretched hands. They looked at Qiao Yan's elegance. That aura of elegance and grace crashed into the eyes of the passers-by. The surrounding people looked at them in a daze. Who is this? Which family's young master was so elegant? It wasn't until Qiao Yan walked towards the soldiers, who were shouting, that they immediately went forward to grab him. They didn't expect Qiao Yan to shout, "I can walk on my own." The soldiers were shocked by his shout. Looking at the young master's righteous face, they couldn't help but follow behind. The middle-aged couple was already in tears as they knelt on the ground weakly. After Qiao Yan was brought to the square, she heard the sound of crying. Countless children were forced to kneel on the ground, and a temporary stage was set up in the corner of the square. Zhang Liang sat on a chair, his eyes cold, and the corners of his mouth tightly pursed. The air pressure around him dropped to below freezing. 5 meters in front of him, there were several corpses on the ground. Blood flowed all over the ground. When Qiao Yan was brought to the scene, this was the scene he saw. A child was being carried forward. This child was about the same age as Qiao Yan. At this moment, he was struggling desperately in the hands of the soldiers. He cried, "Help, help." At this moment, 2 more people came forward to hold the child down. Someone shouted from the side, "Time's up." The soldier with the knife raised his knife high and was about to chop down on the child's head. The child raised his head to look at the saber that was about to fall. The dazzling reflection was like ice. He was pierced so hard that he closed his eyes. His body slid down involuntarily, but the 2 people beside him held him tightly. The arc of the saber made the other children close their eyes in fear. Just as the child's head was about to be separated from his body, there was a soft sound. The knife in the soldier's hand was suddenly thrown out by a strong force. Then the knife flew in Zhang Liang's direction. Although the knife was unexpected, it wasn't strong enough. Zhang Liang gently waved his hand and swung the knife to the side. Then, a smile appeared on his lips. "Tai Dan, my little crown prince. Should I call you Qiao Yan? You finally appeared." "Zhang Liang, I'm already here. Let them go," Qiao Yan said solemnly. "You want me to let them go? Why? I feel sorry for your people. It seems that you are quite kind. However, do you still have any bargaining chips to negotiate with me? Why must you disrupt the order of Flower Capital? Your goal was to capture me. Now that you've achieved your goal, what good would it do you to kill them? You're a businessman. Why do you have to make yourself into a tyrant? If you provoke all the demons here, they'd rather die than live in dishonor. Then there's no need for Flower City to exist anymore." That does make some sense. However, Qiao Yan, I realized that after you removed the birthmark on your face, you really look like a celestial being. Previously, I said that I would send you to the brothel. It seems that it makes sense. I am the little prince of the devil realm. Naturally, I look better than the average person. However, aren't you afraid that the entire devil realm will become your enemy by sending me to the brothel? I'm very curious right now. Zhang Liang, can you tell me whether you're a devil or a demon? Qiao Yan asked slowly. Qiao Yan seemed to have stabbed Zhang Liang's sore spot. He coldly snorted. "It doesn't matter if I'm a devil or a demon. Right now, I'm someone who can control your life." Zhang Liang didn't say anything else. He waved his hand and said, "Take him away." With that, he stood up from the chair and walked into a carriage. Then, a sentence came out from the carriage. "Tie our noble little prince to the back of the carriage with a rope. Let's go." After saying that, someone immediately tied Qiao Yan up with a long rope and tied her to the back of the carriage. The carriage slowly moved. At first, Qiao Yan was able to keep up, but slowly the speed increased. Qiao Yan suddenly fell to the ground and was then dragged to the ground. And the people on the street just looked like this. All the people of the devil world had fire in their eyes. Some people wanted to rush up, but they were all stopped by the large swords in front of them. At this time, Qiao Yan could only struggle to raise his head. His body was rubbing on the ground. After a while, a line of blood could be seen behind him. Qiao Yan wasn't afraid at all. Instead, he smiled because those children were finally saved by him. He looked at the crying faces of the demons on both sides of the street. Although some of them looked strange, the kindness and simplicity in their eyes couldn't lie. These were all his lovely people. He must think of a way to let them escape from the sea of suffering. You dare. Suddenly, the sound of a broken crane came from the sky. The sound was like a clear clap of thunder, causing everyone's eardrums to tremble. Everyone raised their heads and saw a woman flying down from the top of a wall. Following her was a burst of surging spiritual power that was like flying sand and stones hitting their faces. Everyone couldn't help but use their sleeves to cover their faces, afraid that the wind and sand would blind their eyes. The first thing the woman did was to cut the rope connecting Xiao Yun and the carriage. She picked Xiao Yun up from the ground, and then a surge of power directly overturned the carriage in front. Zhang Liang, who was in the carriage, was caught off guard and fell to the ground. At this time, the soldiers also reacted. Thousands of people rushed towards the woman and Xiao Yun. The woman's hands were constantly flying, blocking the soldiers layer by layer. However, there were too many people. She originally wanted to catch Zhang Liang as well, but the opportunity had been missed. She didn't want to continue fighting. She carried Xiao Yun on her back and directly soared into the sky. Her feet tapped on the ground, and she silently chanted an incantation. A large barrier was set up behind her, blocking the soldiers who were constantly chasing her. She flew towards the city gate with Xiao Yun. The soldiers who were originally guarding the city gate also quickly flocked over. Yinran carried Xiao Yun. There were wolves in front and tigers behind. The two of them were directly sandwiched in the middle like dumplings. Yinran was not afraid. Wherever the spiritual power in her hand went, a large number of people were knocked down. The other people who had come to watch the fun fled. In desperation, many people revealed their true forms. The streets were full of rats, fleas, and other things that were constantly fleeing. Mother, put me down. I can fight with you. Xiao Yun said in a low voice while lying on Yinran's back. Son, you are injured. Rest well. Your father has already gone to mobilize the soldiers. Now we just need to open the gate and welcome him in. That's great. Mother, all the people of the devil realm here are being persecuted by the demon realm. They are living in too much pain. We must save them. Xiao Yun said firmly. These few days, Xiao Yun hasn't eaten much. In addition, he was dragged on the ground for a while. He was a little weak. But now that he finally saw his family, Xiao Yun was full of fighting spirit. When he got down from Yinran's back, his clothes were tattered and blood was seeping out. Xiao Yun didn't care at all. At this time, he also channeled his spiritual energy, sucking all the swords in the hands of the soldiers around him, and then threw them out. The soldiers felt as if they had seen a ghost. How could the swords in their hands be chopped at their heads? At this time, someone on the city wall shouted, "Gather the soldiers, someone is attacking the city." Yinran and Xiao Xiao looked at each other. Xiao Xiao is here. Yinran took advantage of the time when the surrounding soldiers were gathering at the city gate. She directly took Xiao Yun with her and went up the city tower. Yinran casually pushed a few soldiers down the city wall. Looking from afar, she saw Xiao Xiao like a god of war, waving his sword and leading thousands of soldiers. At this time, Xiao Xiao was clad in battle armor and had already transformed into his true form. He was the most conspicuous one among the crowd. His godlike face was filled with power, and all the light was concentrated on him as he brandished his broadsword. His figure and beauty while running was incomparable. Yinran felt that her heart was about to jump out of her chest, and her hormones were about to explode. Her man was too handsome. Xiao Yun waved his hand and shouted excitedly, "Father, I and Mother are here." At this time, Yinran only said one sentence, "Son, pay attention to your image. Look at how handsome your father is." Then she picked up Xiao Yun and threw him down the city wall. When Xiao Xiao saw this, he quickly jumped and caught his precious son in the air. After so many days of worry, he finally put down Xiao Yun in his arms. Xiao Yun clung to Xiao Zhao's shoulder, his eyes shining with worship. "Father, is this your original body? You really look like a god of war. Mother is mesmerized by you." Xiao Xiao slapped his son's butt and kissed him fiercely. "Good son, is your mother really that mesmerized?" Xiao Yun wiped his face and nodded seriously. "It's true. Mother's eyes are straight." Xiao Xiao was immediately filled with pride. Son, watch. Father and mother will take revenge for you and take down Flower City. While the two of them were talking, Yinran had already returned to the city wall. Without Xiao Yun's restraint, she no longer had to hold back. In the blink of an eye, countless corpses were piled up into a mountain. She is a god of death. The soldiers in Flower City no longer dared to attack Yinran. They only dared to surround her from afar. They watched as Yinran lightly pushed aside the soldiers who were not afraid of death. The distance of 100 meters was easily covered. Then they watched as Yinran walked to the city gate. She removed the bolt and easily opened the city gate. Zhang Liang's flustered and exasperated voice came from far away. Do you soldiers eat shit? How can the city gate be opened so easily? Hurry up and go. Go. When Yinran opened the gate, she stood in the middle and looked at the army waiting at the gate. She smiled at Xiao Xiao, who was at the front. Hubby, come in. Xiao Xiao looked at Yinran. The two of them had been married for 10 years, but every time Yinran smiled, it was a kind of soul seduction. His heart trembled from her smile, and his mouth involuntarily curved. He raised his large blade above his head. Brothers, charge! Chapter 369. After the city gates were opened, everything seemed to flow smoothly. Xiao Xiao and Yinran met up within the city, and the city lord followed closely behind. He had been assigned the task of rescuing the citizens of the demon world within the city. Xiao Xiao and Yinran charged at the front, chasing after Zhang Liang. All the soldiers were fighting in the city. Broken limbs and wreckage flew everywhere. Xiao Xiao had already transformed from a war god into a killing god. Wherever he went, there was no one who could escape. He directly released a guard seal, protecting Xiao Yun within. Son, the mana critical strike that I taught you before can be put to use today. Use your spiritual power to concentrate all your power into your fist. Then silently recite the mantra. I will bring you to experience the carefree and unrestrained feeling of the demon realm. Xiao Yun silently recited the mantra in his heart, using the Fa critical strike that he learned before. His small fist instantly grew several times bigger. Son, like this, smash the head of the person in front of you. Xiao Xiao ordered. Okay. Xiao Yun fiercely extended his arm and smashed the head of the person in front of him. With a kacha sound, the skull broke and blood spurted out. Xiao Yun wanted to close his eyes, but he didn't expect that the blood would be blocked by the seal. It couldn't enter his eyes at all. After succeeding once, Xiao Yun found that his fist was invincible. He directly faced the sword head-on, and it wouldn't hurt a single hair. Xiao Yun was overjoyed. Originally, according to his temperament, he was only willing to cultivate the hibiscus art. He didn't have any interest in these fighting and killing moves. But after this, the demonic nature in Xiao Yun's body seemed to be aroused. He looked at the tall and strong Xiao Xiao with worship. It was this battle that turned Xiao Yun, a child with high intelligence, into a perfect boy with both strength and intelligence. The battlefield was the best way to train a person's mind. In the face of death and slaughter, that was the wild nature in the bottom of every man's heart. They liked to fight, they wanted to possess, they wanted to be heroes. And Xiao Yun's continuous fighting put an end to his cowardice and benevolence. From now on, he was an indomitable man, a hero in the hearts of all the people of the demon realm. Zhang Liang looked at the killing all around Flower Capital. Seeing the crown prince and crown princess personally come, he knew that the situation was over. What happened to the soldiers from the neighboring city? A soldier ran to Zhang Liang. Master, the soldiers didn't come. Zhang Liang was shocked. Why? They said the seal is fake, and they can't find the commander's seal. How did this happen? Xiao Yun was already in front of Zhang Liang. Because I helped you stamp a fake seal. The commander's seal is in my hands. Zhang Liang felt as if a bucket of cold water had been poured over his head. He gritted his teeth and said, Xiao Yun, I actually fell for your trick. And flustered, the demon realm's second prince rushed. Why did it become like this? Who are these people attacking the city? It's the crown prince and crown princess of the demon realm. I captured the demon realm's little crown prince, and they tracked me here. They brought an army to attack the city gates. Zhang Liang couldn't hide it anymore, and could only tell the truth. The demon realm's second prince said. Since you captured the demon realm's little crown prince, what are you worried about? Take it out and have them retreat. Zhang Liang's cold index finger pointed forward. The demon realm's little crown prince has already been rescued by them. F***ck. I shouldn't have believed you. You can't do anything well. Your rebellion failed. And you can't sell the sugar pills. You've even been cut off from your source of income. Now that the whole world is looking for you, what else can you do? You bastard. I already told father that you're a little bastard and can't do anything big. Father still believed you. Just wait and see. We'll defeat them and return to the demon realm. Let's see how you explain it to father. With that, the second prince ignored Zhang Liang and waved his hand. It's a mess here. My people follow me back to the demon realm and leave this mess to this bastard to clean up. When Zhang Liang heard this, he vomited a stomach full of blood. His nails dug into his palms. He gritted his teeth and watched the second prince's figure walk away. At least half of his people were taken away from him. He directly shouted to the sky. Everyone listen to my order. Capture all the demon realm's people for me. Capture as many as you can. Let's see if they dare to continue fighting. Unexpectedly, at this time, a soldier came forward. His hat was already crooked, and his body was covered in blood. He knelt down and reported to Zhang Liang. The demon realm's people are like crazy right now. They're picking up the big swords on the ground and fighting with us. Moreover, the Sand Capital's city lord has brought a group of people and gathered the old, weak, women and children together. They're now transporting them out of the city. Sure enough, Zhang Liang heard the sound of shouting everywhere. The demon realm's people gathered here. The demon realm's people gathered here. The cycle repeated in the streets and alleys. Zhang Liang kicked the soldier in front of him. Why are you so useless? They're also soldiers. You're also soldiers. Why can't you beat them? The soldier on the ground lowered his head and said, they're all elite soldiers. Their numbers are at least 5 times ours. Moreover, the crown prince and the crown princess are too strong. These 2 people can destroy our army. We can't hold on anymore. Zhang Liang was so angry that he directly placed his blade on the soldier's neck. Even if you can't take it, you still have to. My many years of business have been destroyed today. You useless things. If you don't take back Flower City, then don't even think about returning to the demon realm. You'll become a rat that everyone wants to beat up in the demon realm. So why are you still kneeling here? Hurry up and capture them. At this time, a servant beside Zhang Liang bowed and said, Mr. Zhang, do you want to transfer more soldiers from the demon realm? The soldiers here are obviously not enough. We're already at a disadvantage. It's useless to force them to death. Zhang Liang gasped for breath and looked at the soldier gloomily. Although he knew what the soldier said was right, for a bastard from the demon realm like him, where could he get so many soldiers? At this time, he hated his identity. He was the child of the demon king and a woman from the demon realm. Because of his identity, he was sent to the demon realm to live. But because of his identity, he had no choice but to work for the demon realm. After so many years of planning and strategizing, he thought he'd be able to complete his great cause. He thought he could win against the second prince in front of his father and be recognized by the demon king. But he didn't expect that everything would be over today. I don't believe it. My life is in my own hands. Zhang Liang picked up a broadsword on the ground and said, Come with me. Even if I have to risk my life, I will take back Flower City. But when he was really on the battlefield, Zhang Liang knew that no matter how strong he was, he couldn't win against thousands of soldiers and horses. Xiao Xiao and Yin Ran were the strongest opponents he'd ever met in his life. Finally he saw Xiao Xiao. He was killing his soldiers one by one. The way he waved the broadsword was as if he'd been trained countless times. It was precise and perfect. Even the wounds were small. It was as if he only needed to dig out a small part of the brain. The difference in height between him and Xiao Xiao was several times. Zhang Liang raised his head to look at this majestic man. It was as if he could bury him in the ground with a single finger. He regretted his impulsive actions just now. Why didn't he learn from the second prince? Where there's life, there's hope. He should have returned to the demon realm first. But when he returned to the demon realm, the taunts would burn his heart. He clenched his teeth and struggled for a long time. He took half a step back. But when he hesitated, an iron fist smashed into his face. When he saw clearly, he found that it was Qiao Yun, who was coldly looking at him. Zhang Liang, I let you go once. Otherwise, you would have disappeared long ago. But today I regret it. I didn't think that you'd bring disaster to Flower City. If it wasn't for my escape, I wouldn't have known that you've done so many bad things. Today, I will represent the people of the demon realm to destroy you. Zhang Liang smiled coldly and wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth. I can't beat your father, but can't I beat you? I should have killed you long ago and let the demon realm fall into chaos. You are the biggest failure in my plan. Now, I will make up for my mistake. Zhang Liang's tone was very big, but he soon found that he couldn't get close to Qiao Yun. There was a layer of knot-like things around Qiao Yun's body. Now he could only hit him, but he couldn't hit Qiao Yun at all. The knife in his hand seemed to have hit an iron wall. No matter how hard he tried, he couldn't cut down. And Qiao Yun vented all his hatred for the demon realm on Zhang Liang. He started beating him from the top, until every bone in his body was broken. Zhang Liang fell to the ground like a soft worm. The only thing he could move was his slightly open mouth. Father, this is Zhang Liang. Xiao Xiao retracted his hand and looked at the soft worm on the ground. He gave Qiao Yun a thumbs up. Good job, son. You finally caught this big bad guy. Then, Qiao Yun shouted in the sky above Flower City. Everyone listen up. Your Zhang Liang has been caught by us. Do you still want to fight? After that, Xiao Xiao used his height advantage to grab Zhang Liang and raise him in the air. Everyone in the city could see that Zhang Liang was indeed caught. Now, I order all of you to put down your weapons and line up. Stand in a row. If you surrender, we will not kill you. If you resist, we will kill you. Everyone watched as Zhang Liang, who was lifted up high, fell into Xiao Zhao's palm like a pile of mud. They all put down their weapons in fear. Xiao Zhao's subordinates immediately gathered them together. They all held their heads and squatted down. After a while, the entire square was filled with soldiers. At this time, the people of the devil world finally began to cheer. They had defeated the demon world. Their flower city had returned. All the people of the devil world knelt down to Qiao Yun, Xiao Xiao and Yanran and shouted, Long live, long live, long live. The middle-aged couple who helped Qiao Yun before were also kneeling in front of their house. They looked excitedly in the direction of the crown prince. Their bitter days were finally over. The happiest ones were the young boys and girls, who had run out of the brothels and taverns. They rushed directly to the square, and threw everything they could at the surrendered soldiers. They cried and screamed, venting their pain and resentment. They were finally saved. The dark clouds in the sky gradually dispersed, and the sky was clear and blue. Chapter 370. With Zhang Liang's death, the entire battle was over. Crown Prince Qiao Xiao directly appointed City Lord Xia to take over Flower City and reorganize the post-war affairs. The first thing City Lord Xia did was to count the number of survivors of the Devil Realm in Flower City and register them. The second thing was to ask the Crown Princess to set up a huge array and trap all the people of the Demon Realm in it. The entire Flower City was finally clean. However, Sand City Lord didn't give up his vigilance. He was worried that there might be people from the Demon Realm hiding in the city. Therefore, when every citizen of the Demon Realm registered, he asked them to identify each other. He would personally check their relationship with each other. If there was a single person, then they would be suspicious. In the end, there were over 1,000 people who were left alone. At this time, he asked Crown Prince Qiao Xiao to help determine whether they were people of the Demon Realm or the Demon Realm. Qiao Xiao directly used his devil chi to sense and found something strange. Some people had very little devil chi in their bodies. After careful questioning, he found out that these people were the descendants of both the Demon Realm and the Demon Realm. According to Qiao Xiao and Yanran, these people were allowed to choose whether they wanted to return to the Demon Realm or stay in the Demon Realm. However, if they chose to stay in the Demon Realm, they had to abide by the rules and regulations of the Demon Realm and be heavily monitored. If they were found to have done something bad, they would be immediately deported. Half of them were willing to stay. The other half grew up in the demon realm and were familiar with the environment there. Thus, these people were also sent back to the demon realm. There were also some heinous people who were identified by the people of the demon realm. These people of the demon realm couldn't be executed on the spot, even if they wanted to go back. Xiao Xiao and Yinran wanted City Lord Sha to burn the city again. Thus, on a clear day, these people of the demon realm, who had harmed the people of the demon realm, were all gathered in a central square surrounded by firewood. Almost all the citizens of the devil realm in the city came to watch as the Sand City Lord read out their crimes one by one. All of them were wicked beyond redemption. At the very least, there would be the blood of a citizen of the devil realm under their hands. Especially Zhang Liang, who had done countless bad things. Just producing drugs and selling them to the people in the nearby cities had already harmed countless people. The victims were overjoyed to see these people pleading guilty and being sentenced to death. By the time all the announcements were made, it was already close to afternoon. Then, the Sand-Dust Lord gave the order, and the soldiers around him lit up a fire. The raging flames raged towards this group of evil demon realm people. Yinran had already set up the array. The people outside could see the miserable state in which they were burned to death. After all of them were burned to death, the ground was covered with the corpses of all kinds of monsters. Most of them were rats. As for Zhang Liang, as one of the most heinous representatives, he was tied to the highest shelf. At this moment, all the bones in his body were broken, and he was hanging there weakly. Yinran had already destroyed all the meridians in his body. At this time, everyone could clearly see that he had a huge snake tail floating in the air. He actually had a human head and a snake body. When the fire snake wrapped around his snake tail, the snake tail was twisting crazily. Xiao Xiao whispered in Yinran's ear. If Auntie knew that the person she spent the night with was a snake, I don't know if she would ever get close to a man again. Yinran looked back at him and said, Don't tell him that Auntie has seen countless people. It doesn't matter if she changes her taste, as long as his kung fu is good. Xiao Xiao hugged Yinran's waist tightly and warned, Don't learn from her. Yinran's body stiffened, be honest. Then her face turned red and she said in a low voice, I can't handle dealing with you alone. These words touched Xiao Xiao's heart. He was very satisfied and proudly pinched Yinran's hand. His Yinran was still the best. Xiao Yin looked straight ahead and said, Father, Mother, you should pay attention to your image. The people below are all looking at you. Xiao Xiao nodded his son's head and no longer said anything. The flames illuminated the faces of the demons. They were bright red. Their blood was boiling, and their faces were covered in tears. Then it was unknown who took the lead. They directly rushed to the front of the brothel, and burned all these evil places. Originally, the soldiers wanted to stop them, but the Sand City Lord gave them a hand signal. They didn't need to care. They had been suppressed for so long, so he gave them a space to vent. The two fires lit up the sky above Flower Capital, and they were still burning even when night fell. Kai Kwa had already disappeared from the City Lord's mansion. He followed the second prince back to the demon realm. Xiao Xiao, Yinran, and Lord Sha led the people who were returning to the demon realm to the border. There was a natural ravine between the demon realm and the demon realm. It spontaneously formed a thick layer of fog that separated the two realms. The people of the demon realm jumped into the fog one by one. After they all jumped, Yinran used a seal from the hibiscus chart to completely seal the border. Without her unsealing it, the people of the demon realm would never be able to come back. At this point, Xiao Xiao and Yinran had finished dealing with the matters of the Flower Capital. They brought Xiao Yin back to the Sand Capital first. Xiao Yun's injuries needed to be treated in a timely manner. The Flower Capital was already very busy, so they didn't want to add to the chaos. Unexpectedly, when they were about to reach the Sand City, they found a broken carriage on the road. There was a young girl and a servant in the carriage who had fainted from hunger. After they carried the young girl and the servant into the carriage, Xiao Yun was shocked. Isn't this a man? At this time, a man was dressed like a little boy. His originally round little face had become a little pointy. Now it was covered in dirt. His clothes were dirty and messy. His originally rosy cheeks had become sallow and emaciated. Yinran said in surprise, "How much did our man suffer to become like this?" Then she looked at her son and quietly said to Xiao Xiao, "Why do you think our man is here? Is it because he's too charming like you?" Xiao Xiao was well aware, but he didn't say it out loud. He blinked and quietly replied to Yinran, "Let them have a good chat tonight. We can finally have some alone time." Yinran's face instantly turned red. "Yinran, why can't you get rid of your blushing problem? I didn't say anything, but you're always so agitated. Ouch, 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 ouch. You have to change your habit of pinching my waist. A man's waist is very important. You can't break it." Yinran directly covered Xiao Xiao's mouth. Her eyes were flirtatious. "What nonsense are you saying in front of two children?" Xiaoyan didn't pay attention to what the two adults were saying. He was busy feeding water to a man. It was his first time taking care of someone. After feeding him a spoonful of water, it all slipped out from the corner of his mouth. He had to find a cloth and hurriedly wiped it. Just like that, a man slept all the way until they reached the Sha capital. Only when a doctor came did our man wake up. At this time, Xiao Yin had already tidied himself up and bandaged his wounds. He sat in our man's room and took a book to read. "Am I dreaming? Brother Crown Prince, is that you?" A low voice sounded. A man half opened her eyes and looked at the boy who was quietly reading in front of her. A pair of deep and clear eyes, with a hint of alienation, flashed with fragments of starlight. That handsome face that seemed to light up the entire room caused her to suddenly wake up. She sat up and jumped off the bed. However, because her legs went soft, she knelt on the ground. She didn't hurry to get up. Instead, she knelt at Xiao Yun's feet and held his knees. Using her big cute eyes as a pillow, she looked up at Xiao Yun at a 45-degree angle. Then, an extremely surprised smile appeared on her face. "Brother Crown Prince, it's really you. I finally found you." Then, she buried the side of her face in Xiao Yun's knees. After a while, Xiao Yun felt that his knees were a little wet. Xiao Yun was a little stunned. Why is this little girl so emotional? He reached out and helped her up. "Ah man, your body hasn't recovered yet. Go back to the bed first." Ah man nodded with tears of joy. Large drops of tears still fell from her eyes. Then, Ah man began to ramble. "Brother Crown Prince, do you know? That day, after I recovered from my injuries, I couldn't find you anywhere. Only then did I know that you were taken away by bad people. I was so anxious. They restrained me and didn't let me leave the palace. In the end, I had to dress up as a servant and secretly steal the token. Only then could I leave the palace to find you." "Why did you come to find me?" Xiao Yin asked curiously. Although the two of them had experienced a terrifying palace coup together, Xiao Yin didn't feel that he was that familiar with a man unexpectedly. A man was stunned by this question. She didn't think carefully about why she came to find Xiao Yun. She muttered, "I don't know why either. I just subconsciously felt that you were in danger. Perhaps there was something I could do to help. That's why I came out." "You're addicted to adventure. How dangerous is it to come out?" Xiao Yun reprimanded with a stern face. A man's voice grew softer and softer. "I really didn't expect that the money I brought along on the way would suddenly disappear. I didn't spend lavishly either. I suspected that someone had stolen it, so I ended up here in a daze. But..." A smile bloomed on a man's face. "Brother Crown Prince, no matter what, I finally found you." The smile on her face was as bright as a blooming flower. Even her sallow complexion and emaciated body seemed to have disappeared. "All right." Xiao Yin held his forehead. This man was really too bold. "It's too dangerous outside. I'm a boy, so it's fine. But if something happens to a girl like you, then your life will be ruined. You're not allowed to do something like this again. Do you understand?" Xiao Yun's expression was rather serious as he lectured Ah Man righteously. Ah Man pursed her lips, looking like she was about to cry. Xiao Yun lowered his voice, and his tone became gentler. "You're tired today. Sleep early. If you have anything to say, we can talk tomorrow." After saying that, he walked out of the room. But when he opened the door, he saw his parents standing at the door looking at the sky. Chapter 371. Xiao Yin was stunned. He looked at his father's sneaky smile and his mother's embarrassed face. He slowly tidied his sleeves and said, "I'm going to bed. Good night." Xiao and Yin Ran looked at their son's graceful footsteps, then looked at a man who was sitting on the bed with his mouth pursed. The corners of their mouths twitched, and Xiao said, "A man, you should rest early." After saying that, he closed the door and pulled Yinran back to his room. Yinran pinched Xiao's arm hard. "Look, it's all your fault. Our son saw it. It's so embarrassing. What kind of father and mother would listen to their son's corner? What's wrong with that? I want to see my son's charm. Is he as elegant as I was back then? I think our son's elegance is better than yours. The girl found him from thousands of miles away." Xiao touched her chin. "That's true. Aran, have you ever traveled thousands of miles to find your husband?" Yinran stared blankly for a moment. "I wanted to look for you, but who knows where you went? If you weren't in the Yin Yang array, you would have returned to the devil world. Back then, I really didn't have anyone to help me. Speaking of this, it really made me worried." Xiao saw that they were talking about his dark history and quickly changed the topic. He pulled Yinran to sit on the bed. "Aran, let's not talk about this. You see, I made you scared before. Today I'll help you make it up to you, okay?" "Make up for what?" Yinran didn't understand. Xiao had already pushed her down and was still muttering, "Make up for whatever you want. Tonight I'm all yours." After saying that, he started to pull Yinran's clothes with his hands and feet. "Look at how impatient you are." Sob. The two of them started to mess around. However, not long after, they found that the room's soundproofing wasn't very good. It seemed that the bed was shaking a little. "Aran, let me set up a Dao barrier. Otherwise, if you shout too loudly later, you will lead the children around you astray. Can't you be gentler?" "How can I do that? Didn't I say that I would compensate you today? My wife has worked hard during this period of time. I have to reward her well." This good reward relieved all the tension and exhaustion she had been feeling during this period of time. Yinran narrowed her eyes and glared at Xiao with a flushed face. She said directly, "I'm full." She was satisfied like a lazy cat. Xiao stroked Yinran's sweaty skin. "Honey, that was the main course. Let's have a midnight snack later." Yinran bit his Adam's apple and said, "It's not convenient outside. You can do whatever you want when we get back to the palace." Xiao said excitedly, "That's what you said. I'll take you to a new array I've come up with, and wear the latest sexy underwear I've designed for you." Yinran blushed when she heard that. "How is that underwear? It's just 2 straps. It's so embarrassing to wear it. I like it." "Aran, do you want to eat midnight snacks or wear underwear? Think carefully." As he said that, his hands started to move. Yinran quickly held his hands down. Okay. It's up to you when we get back to the palace." Xiao's evil plan succeeded. The set of pajamas was a classic that he had racked his brains to design. However, Yinran refused to wear it. He imagined that scene and hugged Yinran into his dream. The only thing he was worried about was whether he would get a nosebleed from excitement. That would be embarrassing. After recuperating in Shadu for 2 days, a man and Xiao Yun's injuries were almost healed. Thus they embarked on the journey back. Their mood on the way back was completely different from when they came. Now, they finally had the leisure to enjoy the beautiful scenery along the way. Yinran originally wanted to spend more time with her son, but Xiao forcibly changed the large carriage into 2 medium-sized carriages and stuffed the 2 children into them, saying that he wanted them to interact more. Thus, Yinran pinched Xiao's waist and said, "I haven't seen my son for so long, but you won't let me talk to him more. There will be many days to talk in the future. These 2 days won't make a difference." Before getting on the carriage, a man ran over and kissed Yinran. "Thank you, Aunt Crown Princess." Yinran could only compromise. Looking at her son's carriage in front of her, she could still vaguely see her son's expressionless face. Her heart ached faintly. "You said that our son has suffered so much and needs my comfort the most right now. You as his father, only think about yourself." Xiao hugged Yinran. "You said that our son's temperament is like yours. Aren't you going to find a chance for him to make more friends?" Children of the same age can be together and have more common topics. Just like that, Xiao Yin and A Man were in one carriage, while Yanran and Xiao Xiao were in the other. They sped towards the demon palace. Moreover, with the addition of A Man, the Joker, Xiao Yin, who was originally serious and expressionless, became more talkative. Big brother Crown Prince, look, this is a mountain I passed by on my way here. I heard that this is the tallest mountain in the demon realm. The peak is covered in snow. Although it's cold, the scenery is the best. Shall we go up and take a look? No, let's return to the palace early. Xiao Yin glanced outside and saw that it was no different from an ordinary mountain apart from being slightly taller. He replied expressionlessly, I heard that there are snow lotuses on that mountain. A Man looked at Xiao Yin expectantly. No, you can go by yourself. Big brother Crown Prince, come with me. If you go, I'll give you something I like the most. You should give me something I like the most. What if I don't like the thing you like the most? Big brother Crown Prince, your words are so confusing. Just come with me. As she spoke, she tugged on Xiao Yun's arm and swung it left and right. I said I'm not going, so I'm not going. After saying that, he picked up his book and ignored A Man. This scene repeated many times on the road, but Xiao Yun always refused. A Man's little mouth pouted higher and higher, so much so that an oil bottle could be hung from it. In the carriage behind them, Xiao Xiao and Yanran had already left without saying goodbye. Xiao Xiao had said that he would take Yanran to see the tallest mountain in the demon realm. He had told the guards that they would meet at the town ahead in a day. Just like that, the two adults sneakily left their son behind and snuck towards the snowy mountain. When Xiao Yin realized that the two people behind them were no longer there, his expression turned even colder. The aura around him suddenly dropped by an octave, causing A Man to shiver from the cold. A Man, it was time for Xiao Yin to stop drinking milk. He looked at the person in front of him and couldn't help but be curious. A Man, why don't you pester your parents? My parents aren't fun at all. They're always busy with their own things. So of course I have to find my own entertainment. Moreover, I'm already old, and they said that I'll be getting married in 2 years. If I keep pestering the adults, what will I do in the future? Xiao Yun's eyes widened. You get married at such a young age in the demon realm? You haven't matured yet, have you? Xiao Yun's gaze swept over A Man's body. A Man immediately grabbed the front of his robes, his face slightly red. People in the demon realm get married at this age. Isn't it the same in the human world? In the human world, you have to graduate from university after the age of 23. Xiao Yin replied expressionlessly, but A Man's next words nearly caused Xiao Yin to die. Big brother Crown Prince, I'm almost 5,000 years old. Xiao Yun's face cracked for the first time. Then why are you still so young? Although time in the demon realm is the same as in the human world, people in the demon realm grow very slowly. 500 years for us is equivalent to 1 year for you. So we people here feel that our lifespans are very long. Xiao Yin stared at A Man for a few rounds. He really didn't dare to believe it. Then wouldn't his father be a 10,000-year-old monster? No wonder his mother was completely under his control. At this time, Xiao Yun's father, the 10,000-year-old monster, Xiao Xiao, was standing at the highest point of the devil world with Yanran. The wind here was chilly, and other than the bare stones, there was no vegetation growing. At this time, it was already covered in white snow. The entire mountain was wrapped in silver, as if they had entered a fantasy world of ice and snow. The air at the top of the mountain was thin, and even breathing was difficult. The cold wind scraped their skin painfully. Xiao Xiao held Yanran's hand and walked with difficulty, leaving behind deep footprints. Aran, this is my favorite place to come to. We don't have to destroy this snowy scenery, but I always felt that I needed to leave footprints here to prove that I had been here before. Look, it's right there. Xiao Xiao pointed to a spot not far away. The environment here is so bad, but right at the peak of this mountain, there is a pure white snow lotus blooming there, emitting a faint golden light. Don't you think it looks like you? Yanran was stunned by the beautiful scenery in front of her. She looked for a long time before slowly saying, although this scenery is beautiful, the snow lotus can only admire itself on this mountain peak. If she wants to bloom more beautiful, She can only wait for the beautiful eyes to discover her beauty. Ah Xiao, you are that pair of eyes. Yinran turned and looked into Xiao Zhao's eyes. She hugged Xiao Zhao's waist and pulled him towards her. Ah Xiao, you found the snow lotus in your heart from the demon world. I waited in the human world for so long, and finally the redemption in my heart came. You brought me endless happiness, and I brought you so much suffering, but you tolerated me again and again, and didn't give up on me. I really have to thank you. Xiao Xiao quickly pressed a finger on Yinran's lips, stopping her from continuing. Don't say that. You are my goddess, and you are also my redemption. You trained me from a playboy to a good man. It was you who spurred me on to grow. Now I have become a person in the demon world who dares to take responsibility. Aran, I have to thank you the most. All the thousands of words couldn't compare to the connection between the two of them at this moment. Their love spread throughout the entire mountain. The pure white snow was tinged with a faint red color, and the snow lotuses in the distance bloomed even more dazzlingly, emitting a golden light. A pair of lovers leaned on each other and helped each other in difficult times. On the highest mountain peak of the demon world, beside the blooming snow lotus, they wantonly showcased their love. The cold wind escorted them, and the cold wind stood guard for them. Aran, people say that the 10-year itch is the same. Why are we still like first love after 10 years? My heart beats faster when I see you. Ah Xiao, aren't I the same? I can't help but blush when I see you. The whispers between the lovers drifted in the cold wind, echoing throughout the valley. Chapter 372. About 10 days later, a fast horse rushed into Moda City like a sword that had left its bow. Immediately after, it galloped on the streets, heading straight for the demon palace. The horse did not slow down when it reached the walls of the demon palace. Immediately, a person took out a token and raised it up high, shouting, "His Highness the Crown Prince has returned to the palace. Quickly open the gates." The guards were shocked and then overjoyed. It seemed that His Highness the Crown Prince had returned in triumph. A few people opened the gates, and one of them had already rushed in to report in advance. After a while, a group of carriages drove out of the demon palace and quickly headed out of the city. Soon after, the devil monarch led a group of ministers out of the main hall where they discussed matters. They all sat on the palanquins and headed out of the city together. Xiao Xiao, Yinran, and the rest were about 20 li away from Moda City when they were shocked by the group of carriages waiting there. The leader was Uncle Wu. Uncle Wu waved his hand. Crown Prince, Crown Princess, Little Crown Prince, and Princess Aman have worked hard. The devil monarch has specially ordered me to wait here. Please bathe and change your clothes before entering the city in formal attire. Uncle Wu, what is this for? Your Highness the Crown Prince, this is the devil monarch's intention. You and the Crown Princess have made a great contribution by rescuing the little Crown Prince and saving the entire demon world. The devil monarch wants to welcome you back with the highest standard of welcoming ceremony, Uncle Wu said with a smile. Xiao Xiao raised his eyebrows unhurriedly. My royal father has done it quite grandly this time. We have helped him protect the demon world, so he should give us the corresponding treatment. Yinran Xiao Yin Aman, let's go and change our clothes. It was unknown what Uncle Wu had thought of, but he actually found 4 hot water buckets. At this time, the buckets were already filled with hot water. He used a cloth to enclose the roadside into 4 areas for Xiao Xiao, and the other 3 to take a bath. Yinran looked at the open-air bathroom, and was really not used to it. She set up a barrier around the bathroom, and cast a camouflage spell. Only then did the few of them feel at ease, and wash away the fatigue of so many days. After the few of them were dressed neatly, the surrounding group of guards were blinded. Xiao Xiao was dressed in a black formal crown prince robe embroidered with golden flowers. The pattern was the totem of the demon realm. Large patches of it spread out from the waist down to the ground, as if the totem was attached to his body. The big mouth of the demon beast made Xiao Xiao have a kind of majesty without being angry. The collar of the robe was snow white, which set off Xiao Xiao's slender neck. A golden belt was like a finishing touch, which set off Xiao Xiao's incomparably slender body. The body itself was a natural clothes frame, Under the fine texture and exquisite workmanship of the crown prince robe, the graceful and magnanimous temperament was fully displayed. The shoulder sleeve from the left arm to the left shoulder was made into a flying wing, which set off the arrogance of a noble, vivid in front of everyone's eyes. At this time, Yinran was also dressed in a noble black crown princess robe, which was embroidered with rose totems. The tail of the skirt was 5 meters long, and the skirt was layered with small golden flowers with dewdrops. The shoulder sleeve from the right arm to the right shoulder was made into a flying wing, which echoed with Qiao Zhao's left wing. A maid had already retouched Yinran's makeup. The rose-like rouge, big and bright black eyes, and every frown and smile revealed a myriad of emotions. Noble and beautiful, it was enough to make people fall head over heels. Yinran couldn't move her eyes away from Qiao Zhao. She walked in front of Qiao Zhao and helped him adjust his shoulder sleeve. The love overflowing from her eyes was about to burn Qiao Zhao's heart. When Qiao Zhao saw Yinran's every frown and smile, he was really glad that such a beautiful and wise woman was his crown princess. He helped Yinran put on the crown princess's official hat. The tip of the hat seemed to reach into the clouds, and it immediately made Yinran's height the same as Qiao Zhao's. Yinran also helped Qiao Zhao put on the official hat. The black hat strap was just right under Qiao Zhao's white chin. Yinran's fingertips moved slightly and inadvertently touched Qiao Zhao's Adam's apple. Just this slight movement made Qiao Zhao's eyes darken. Their eyes were glued together, like honey that couldn't be melted, like sugar that couldn't be stirred evenly. Mom, can you help me tie the hat? A small voice sounded beside the two. Qiao Zhao was standing next to Qiao Yun, wearing an exquisite crown prince's uniform. He was perfect like a porcelain doll. He looked left and right, and finally fixed his gaze on his mother. Qiao Zhao said, "You're already so old, but you still don't know how to tie the hat strap yourself?" Unexpectedly, Qiao Yun said slowly, "Dad, you're much older than me. Didn't Mom tie it for you?" Qiao Zhao was speechless. Yinran's heart almost melted when she heard this. She bent down slightly to help her son tie the hat strap. Our Qiao Yun has really grown up. He looks so impressive in this dress, like a king descending to the world. At this moment, a man walked over. Her princess dress looked much more ordinary. She was wearing a pink tutu dress. The hem of the dress was held up high, and there were large fiery red roses on it. At this moment, her hair was also curled up by the maids under her command. In her big and bright black eyes, there was a kind of pure cuteness. The corners of her lips curled up into a happy smile, as she looked at Qiao Yun with adoration. In her eyes, Qiao Yun's entire posture had a kind of bewitching beauty. "Brother Crown Prince, look. I asked them to design this according to the beautiful dress you told me about. Do I look good in it?" Qiao Yun glanced at it, and didn't show any emotion. He said unhurriedly, "It's okay." The carriages were also changed into official royal carriages for the Crown Prince and the Crown Princess. It was ostentatious. 16 tall white horses from the Devil Realm opened the way. The group of carriages moved majestically toward Shanghai. After traveling for 5 kilometers, a red carpet was laid on the ground. It was wide enough to cover 2 Crown Prince carriages. Countless fresh flowers were placed on both sides and colorful banners fluttered in the wind. It was like they were waving their small hands to welcome the masses. Yinran found this rather strange. "Say, your royal father is mustering so many people, as if you're the demon lord." Qiao Zhao's heart trembled. He recalled what the ministers had said to him. Were they going to roast him over a fire? Just like this, the carriages followed the red carpet to the base of the city walls. The demon lord had already led his ministers to personally welcome them on the walls. Seeing the carriages approach, the demon lord led his ministers down the walls. From a distance, they could hear the demon lord's hearty laughter. Qiao Zhao and Yinran got off the carriage and gave the demon lord a standard court bow. The demon lord quickly walked over, passing by Crown Prince Qiao Zhao and attentively helping Crown Princess Yinran up. "Crown Princess, you've finally returned. You've made royal father very worried." Qiao Zhao rubbed his nose and took back the hand that he had been about to take the demon lord's. Turning around, he took back Yinran's hand from the demon lord's and rudely said, "I say, royal father, Is it appropriate for you to be so close to your crown princess? The demon lord gave an embarrassed smile. Ah, aren't we still waiting for the crown princess to treat your mother's illness? Yinran pursed her lips into a smile, and hurriedly said to the demon lord, I'll immediately treat mother's illness when I get back. Be at ease, I'll quickly return you a lively mother. The demon lord had wanted to hear these words. Then he stroked Xiao Yun's small head. It's good that you've returned. Come, let's hurry back to the palace. Upon entering the city, Xiao Xiao and Yinran realized that all the people of the city seemed to have gathered on both sides of the road. Some were holding banners, some were holding flowers, and some were scattering flowers. All sorts of banners and windows were packed with people, their voices growing louder and louder. All of them were shouting to welcome the return of the war god. Respectfully welcoming Your Highness the Crown Prince, and Your Highness the Crown Princess back to the palace. Xiao Xiao and Yinran sat upright in the carriage, the curtains in front completely open, as they accepted the reverence of the people. Yinran finally realized to her shock that the population of Modu was so great. Other than the carriages in the middle of the road, every other place on the street was packed with people. It was like a National Day scenic spot in the human world. Yinran worriedly asked Xiao Xiao, Will their demonic natures erupt because of this? Xiao Xiao smiled and replied, That's definitely not the case. Without blood, their demonic natures will not be aroused. But tonight, the city will definitely be partying all night. All the places of entertainment will definitely be full, and countless people will be singing and dancing on the streets, unwilling to sleep. We've just returned from war, so why are the people so excited? Because we protected the entire demon realm. To them we are heroes. They can live and work in peace and contentment because of us, so they will naturally enjoy to their heart's content. Won't that cause a security problem? It's possible to cause a small ruckus, but generally speaking, no one dares to make a big mistake. The punishment in the demon realm is very severe. Generally, they will be burned to death. Who would be willing to try this kind of extreme punishment? Yinran looked pensive. It seemed that the demon realm still had a natural fear of fire. This was an animal's nature. Moreover, under heavy punishment, people would naturally be afraid. The cost of committing a crime was too high, so naturally the crime rate would decrease. It was different from the laws of the human world, but there was a certain logic to it. Xiao Yun was also sitting in his own carriage with his back straight. Although his face was relatively young, he exuded a dignified aura from within. He wasn't like his father who was smiling mischievously, nor was he like his mother who was expressionless. Instead, he exuded a calm and serious aura, as if the world was in his hands. This kind of situation was quite novel for a child, but Xiao Yun seemed to have practiced it thousands of times in his dreams. He was not afraid at all. The aura around him was very strong. When he passed by the people around him, they could not help but want to submit to him. And when the ministers saw the little crown prince's words and actions, they could not help but secretly praise him. Not only was the crown prince and crown princess extremely popular in the demon realm, even the little crown prince was incomparably brave. In the hearts of the ministers he was extremely prestigious. After all, he had saved their lives before. The road was not easy to walk on. They walked for nearly 2 hours before they entered the demon palace. When they finally left the sight of the people, Xiao Zhao's waist softened, and he lay down on Yinran's body. Wife, I'm so tired. This upright posture is really not suitable for me. Yinran slowly massaged his waist and said with a smile, Look at how lazy you are. If you can lie down, you won't lean. If you can lean, you won't sit. Ayo, this feels good. Yinran, use more strength, a little more, a little more, a little more. Xiao Xiao commanded Yinran to massage his waist. Yinran felt that something was wrong. She slapped Xiao Zhao's butt and said, If you go any lower, will I give you a foot massage? Xiao Xiao shouted exaggeratedly, Wife, take this opportunity to remove my oil. Yinran pinched and twisted his waist. The two of them were playing around, and finally they could get off the carriage. Chapter 373. The moment the carriage stopped, the demon lord quickly walked over and said to Xiao Xiao, Take care of the rest for me. I will first take your crown princess to see mother." His footsteps were hurried, as if a tiger was chasing after him. Xiao Xiao stared at the demon lord as he pulled on Yinran's sleeve and walked away. Xiao Xiao walked to Xiao Zhao's side. "Father, how come you and grandfather don't love the country but love the beauty? Is the country not fragrant?" Xiao Xiao did not even turn his head as he stared in infatuation at Yinran. "Of course, how can the country be more fragrant than the beauty?" Xiao Yin lowered his head in silence. Why was it that his view was different from his royal father's? Was he wrong? Why did he feel that the country was more important than the beauty? He turned his head to look at the Pinka man, whose worshipful gaze had never left him. He indifferently turned his head. She looked like a pink doll. He recalled that there was still a pile of evidence he had collected in the bracelet. He said to Xiao Xiao, "Father, quickly go to court. I have many things to discuss with the ministers." At this time, the ministers had already caught up. After hearing what the Crown Prince Xiao Xiao had said, he quickly clasped his hands to Crown Prince Xiao Xiao. "Your Highness Crown Prince, there are still many unfinished matters. I must trouble your Highness to immediately go to court." Soon after, a solemn scene took place in the hall. Xiao Xiao sat on the seat reserved for the Crown Prince, right below the Demon Lord. The Crown Prince was half a step below him. The ministers below came forward one by one to give their reports. Xiao Xiao originally listened to each report and gave his own suggestions, but after listening for a while, he found it rather impatient. He said to Uncle Wu, who was next to him, "Get me some cushions first." Thus, everyone watched as Xiao Xiao stuffed several cushions behind his back and comfortably reclined on a soft couch as he listened to their reports. But after a while, Xiao Xiao found that their reports were trivial and complicated, which made him completely uninterested. After yawning a few times, he felt a little sleepy. "Your Highness the Crown Prince, Your Highness the Crown Prince, how do you think this matter should be handled?" An old official looked at Xiao Zhao's half-squinted eyes and kindly reminded him. Xiao Zhao's head, which was about to fall to his chin, jerked up as if he had just woken up from his sleep. He was about to ask the old official to repeat his words, but he didn't expect Xiao Yun to finish his sentence. "My view on this matter is..." Xiao Xiao then presented the evidence he collected during his kidnapping to the court for all the old officials to read. Following that, it became a heated discussion between Xiao Yun and the old officials. Xiao Xiao put the cushion under his head and went to sleep. He originally wanted to let Yinran deal with these complicated matters, but he didn't expect that Xiao Yin would be here now, which really saved him a lot of trouble. Uncle Wu, who was serving Xiao Xiao, kept tugging at his clothes with his fingers, which meant to remind him to sit properly. They were in the middle of the court, but Xiao Xiao was sleepy, so Uncle Wu had to remind him in his ear. "The Crown Princess is looking for you. Why don't you go and see the Crown Princess first?" Xiao Xiao suddenly woke up when he heard this. He stood up and stretched, then said to the ministers below, "You continue to discuss with the little Crown Prince. I will go and see how the Devil Lord is doing." All the ministers were in a heated discussion at this time, and didn't hear what the Crown Prince said. They didn't seem to have much opinion about him leaving the court. Instead, the little Crown Prince Xiao Yin brought them too many surprises. As long as Xiao Xiao returned to his palace, he found that he was no longer sleepy. He was thinking that they would soon return to the human world. After not returning for so long, he didn't know how his star entertainment was doing. One thing that was not good about going to the demon world was that he couldn't receive any news from the human world. Originally, before coming, Zhang Daong told him that he was preparing for the listing of Star Entertainment. At that time, he told him that he would be back in a month at most, waiting to hit the gong with him. But he didn't expect that so many things would happen here, delaying the time. Fortunately, before coming, he had already signed all the documents he needed to sign, but he didn't know how the listing process was going. Sitting on the Crown Prince's chair, looking high and mighty, but in Xiao Zhao's eyes, it was hard work. How could it be as happy as dancing and acting? And he estimated that Yanran had a lot of things to do in the human world, which must have been delayed a lot. He now had to find a way to slip away as early as possible before these old officials gave him a trick to keep him here. Yanran was treating his mother, and Xiao Xiao was not going to join in. During this time, his Yanran had worked hard. Today, he saw that Yanran's crown princess dress was indeed graceful and luxurious, but the accessories didn't seem to be as bright and beautiful as those in the human world. So while waiting for Yanran, he prepared to design an accessory. At that time, whether it was in the demon world or in the human world, she could wear it on important occasions. This was what Xiao Xiao was interested in. He found that he was very experienced in the design of clothing and accessories, especially the sexy underwear. Perhaps because the object was Yanran, he made his woman into his favorite appearance, which made him full of vitality and imagination. Xiao Xiao licked his lips. Before, Yanran had promised him that she would follow him when they returned to the palace. He forcibly pushed the image from his mind into a small room and designed a necklace for Yanran to wear whenever she wanted. So Xiao Xiao began to bury himself in his work. Yanran's progress was also quite smooth. After this period of recuperation, Wang Fei's body was much better than before. When Wan did her best to recuperate, and Wang Fei's face was getting rosier. This time, Yanran finally dared to be ruthless to Wang Fei. She boldly led the poison out of Wang Fei's body. Yanran's spiritual power was becoming more and more mellow. With the passage of time, Yanran was quickly approaching the level of a grandmaster. The Devil Lord helped from the side, watching as the black gas in his baby's body was pulled out in large chunks. Finally, after a long time, Wang Fei's eyelids trembled, and then she slowly opened her eyes. Her eyes, which were as dazzling as black pearls, met the Devil Lord's expectant gaze. After a long time, Wang Fei's hand moved and stroked the hair in front of the Devil Lord's forehead. Her voice was a little hoarse. "What's wrong? You actually grew a strand of white hair." The Devil Lord's eyes immediately turned red. "Baby, if you don't like it, I'll think of a way to dye it." When Wan also came forward, tears falling from her eyes. "Wang Fei, you're finally awake." Then the Devil Lord hugged Wang Fei and cried like a child. "Baby, you're finally awake. If you leave me, I won't live." Wang Fei was stunned by the Devil Lord's crying. She patted the Devil Lord's back. Okay, why are you getting smaller and smaller? Don't cry, don't let people see you as a joke." At this time, Wang Fei saw that there was another woman in the room who was wearing the official crown princess costume. She curiously widened her eyes. In Yanran's eyes, the woman, who was like a deer with her own mist, was really lovable. She pushed away the Devil Lord who was crying on her shoulder and was about to sit up on the bed. Yanran hurriedly stopped her. "Your poison has just been removed. You can't do strenuous exercise. Rest well. I am the crown princess Yanran." Wang Fei directly pulled Yanran to her bed and squeezed the Devil Lord to the side. "Yanran, did you save me?" "Yes. Is the Devil Lord okay?" Yanran glanced at the Devil Lord, only to see him reveal a sweet smile. He was also poisoned before, but now he's better. However, he still needs to recuperate for a while. Wang Fei immediately looked at the Devil Lord. "Then why don't you go rest?" The Devil Lord came to the other side of the bed and squeezed Wan away. He climbed onto the bed and covered himself with the quilt. Wang Fei was angry. "I asked you to go back and rest. Who asked you to stay here?" Unexpectedly, the Devil Lord shamelessly said, "Anyway, both of us need to rest. Why don't we do it together?" "Then, you don't care about the matters in the imperial court? Xiao is here. What are you worried about? I have something very important to discuss with you." Yanran and Wan saw that the two of them began to talk as if there was no one else around. They tactfully left the room. Before they walked out of the door, they heard Wang Fei make a sound inside. It was obvious that her mouth was gagged. Yanran hurriedly reminded at the door. "You just recovered. You can't do anything." After saying that, she quickly ran away. When Wan felt as though a huge rock had been lifted from his heart. His sister, whom he loved dearly, had finally recovered. He hurriedly rushed back to his pharmacy. He wanted to quickly prepare the follow-up medicine for Princess Consort. He could not let his sister suffer anymore. His title as a miracle doctor was really slapped in the face. He had to continue to study medical skills. He couldn't let such a thing happen again in the future. Ever since he heard Xiao Xiao and Yinran talk about the development of medical skills in the human world, he had an impulse to follow Xiao Xiao back to the human world, to learn the most advanced medical skills, and bring back some advanced medical equipment. It was impossible to rely on himself to build a cart behind closed doors. He had to go out and introduce the most cutting-edge technology. At this time, there was a lofty feeling in Wen Wan's heart. He would never let such a helpless situation happen again. Yinran returned to the Crown Prince Palace and saw Xiao Xiao spread the paper all over the table. It was full of drawings. She hugged Xiao Xiao's waist from behind and said sweetly, "What is my husband doing?" Xiao Xiao pulled Yinran in front of him and put his drawings in front of her. "Look, this is a necklace I designed for you." Although it was only a drawing, Yinran was amazed when she saw it. It was a heart-shaped diamond pendant. It looked very romantic. A main diamond was inlaid in the heart-shaped diamond holder. Fashionable metal surrounded the diamond and doubled the number of diamonds. A row of small diamonds were inlaid on both sides of the main stone. The small diamonds on both sides and the main stone in the center complemented each other. When the pendant rotated, it was even more dazzling. "It's so beautiful. Ah Xiao, I found that you really have a talent for design." Xiao Xiao was immediately happy. Receiving Yinran's praise was the most satisfying thing for him. "Then, what clothes do you think would be the best for me?" Yinran picked up the drawing and looked at it left and right. She was very fond of it. Xiao Xiao immediately said to the servants around him, "All of you leave." He walked to the inner room and took out something on his back. Then, he suddenly raised it in front of Yinran's eyes. "I think it would be the best for you to wear this." Chapter 374. Yinran almost choked to death on her own saliva. Xiao Xiao actually took out the 2 straps of erotic underwear that she had always refused to wear. She snatched it, her face completely red. It ran. Xiao Xiao went forward to take back the underwear. But how could Yinran let him succeed? The two chased each other around the room, knocking down the screen and tearing at the clothes. The wind they created caused the smoke from the incense burner to fill the room. In the end, Xiao Xiao finally caught up to Yinran in the bathroom. "You promised me that you would be with me when we returned to the palace." In the end, Yinran could only fulfill her promise half-heartedly. Under the steaming mist, it was as if a layer of gauze had covered the two people's eyes. She was finally put on the incomparably embarrassing underwear by Xiao Xiao. 2 indistinct red ribbons were twirling around her body. She didn't know how Xiao Xiao wrapped her body, but then she was carried by Xiao Xiao in front of a large mirror. With just one glance, Yinran wanted to faint and forget about it. Xiao Xiao was even more excited. He transformed, the clothes on his body exploding and flying away. He took out the totem and brought Yinran to a formation he had designed. It surrounded the mirror 360 degrees. Xiao Xiao blinked his bright peach blossom eyes, constantly tempting her. "Ran, look at how beautiful you are in the mirror." Yinran was so embarrassed that she didn't dare to open her eyes. She bit Xiao Xiao's shoulder and refused to let go. Just as Xiao Xiao and Yinran were indulging themselves, neither of them expected that the demon lord and Wang Fei would discuss an unexpected matter. On the morning of the next day, the demon lord brought his princess consort into the imperial court and sat upright on the highest chair. He was in a very good mood and talked and laughed with Wang Fei. When everyone saw that Wang Fei had woken up, the stone in their hearts was put down. It seemed that everything in the demon world would return to normal. Following that, the Devil Lord's words almost caused all the ministers to fall to the ground. "I announce that from today onwards, I will officially abdicate. My son Xiao Xiao is outstanding in his daily life. His talent is pure and beautiful, and he has repeatedly performed miraculous deeds. His prestige among the people is extremely high, and he is qualified to take on great responsibilities." The new devil army will be succeeded by Crown Prince Xiao Xiao. Xiao Xiao and Yinran, who were sitting below, were also shocked. Xiao Xiao jumped 3 zhang high. "Father King, I don't want to be the demon lord. I want to return to the human world." "Nonsense." The demon lord's aura instantly flared up. The demon lord truly had not expected his authority to be challenged. He and his wife had believed it to be a matter of course. but they had not expected that his son would not be willing to be the demon lord. Xiao Xiao had no choice but to kneel and explain to his father king. Father king, my ambition is not here. I still have unfinished business in the human world. After 100 years in the human world, I can finally return to the demon world. Moreover, you know my personality. I am a military general. If you ask me to do what a civil official should do, I will have a headache. Yesterday, when I heard the official's report, my head was about to explode. The officials in the court heard the officials' voices. Xiao Xiao continued, Father King, you and Mufei's health are fine, and there is no problem in managing the demon world. Why do you want to abdicate so early? You can hold on for a while longer. When Yanran and I return from the human world, I will take over the throne. These things are more convenient for Yanran to do. Why don't you let Yanran be the demon lord? The demon lord was angered by Xiao Xiao's shameless words, and threw the memorial in his hand at him. Xiao Xiao dodged and missed, but the demon lord was so angry that he coughed loudly. Wang Fei was rarely angry. Xiao how can you talk to your father king like that? We only have one son, and if we don't pass the throne to you, who else can we pass it to? In this disaster, your father king and I have suffered many injuries. Now we need to focus on recuperation. This is what your crown princess has repeatedly emphasized. As a son, you must take responsibility. Xiao Xiao was at a loss for words. He desperately signaled to Yanran with his eyes, but what should Yanran say? This really stumped her. She gritted her teeth and said with great difficulty, Father King, now that the chaos in the demon world has been eliminated, there is no need for war. You and Wang Fei's bodies have been cleansed of the poison, but there is no need for bed recuperation. We still have some unfinished business in the human world, so I ask that you and Wang Fei carefully consider it. When the demon lord and Wang Fei heard Yanran's words, they did not directly say any angry words. After all, Yanran had done them a great favor, but their faces were very displeased. The demon lord, who was sitting at the head of the table, signaled to the ministers below with his eyes. The ministers immediately knelt down and said in unison, The demon lord is old and his health is unwell. We ask that your highness the crown prince ascend the throne as soon as possible. The matter was at a stalemate. Only Qiao Yin stared with wide eyes at this novel scene. The court meeting ended unhappily. Xiao Xiao and Yanran returned to the crown prince's palace. Soon, a ceremonial official came to inform the crown prince and crown princess of the details of the coronation ceremony in 3 days. Immediately after, Xiao Xiao began to busy himself in the crown prince's palace. Yanran, let's hurry and escape. If we don't escape now, we won't have another chance. I'm experienced in escaping. I've escaped successfully twice. Then he went to the door and called Uncle Wu in. Uncle Wu, hurry and pack up. We're preparing to leave. You go and call Xiao Yin back. Then Xiao Xiao ran around the crown prince's palace like a fast-forwarded camera. He put everything he could carry into a large bag. He kept asking Yanran, Do you like this? If you like it, we'll take it with us. He saw that Yanran didn't answer him. Xiao Xiao didn't care. He just put whatever he liked into the bag. Soon he had filled 3 large bags. Xiao Xiao carried a large bag on his back and held one in each hand. His handsome face looked like a migrant worker. Yanran hurriedly pulled him back. Don't be anxious. Is there no room for discussion? How can you leave without saying goodbye? Yanran, you don't know. If I'm given the title of Devil King, I won't be able to return to the human world. Do you want us to live separately? Yanran bit her lower lip. She didn't want Xiao Xiao to stay here. She thought for a moment. Then you should at least write a letter and tell them. Xiao Xiao thought that it was true. This wasn't like the previous 2 times he ran away. This time, he had offended all the ministers of the devil world. Forget it. To him, the crown prince was a burden. Xiao Xiao put down all his luggage and sat in front of the table. He waved his brush and wrote 3 pages. Father, mother, I've grown up. I have my own choices and hobbies. The position of Devil King is indeed not what I want. I'm a naturally active person. I can shine on the stage, and I can also calm down and study my computer skills. I'm a technical and action-oriented person. It's not a problem to send me to war, but I'm afraid it's difficult for me to manage the devil world. Out of consideration for the future of the entire devil world, the most suitable candidate is my crown princess. It's just that she still has to manage the entire cultivation world in the human world. It's difficult for her to get away for a while. She also has responsibilities and missions that she should bear. Father, mother, please hold on for a while. When Yinran and I finish our business in the human world, we will definitely return to the devil world to take on our responsibilities. Our family will leave first. I wish father and mother love each other forever and live a long life. We'll return in 100 years. Yinran looked at Xiao Zhao's heartfelt words and was moved. I'm sorry, Ah Xiao. I'll definitely return in 100 years to help you manage the devil world. Xiao Xiao put his arm around Yinran's shoulder. What's there to be sorry about? We're husband and wife. Our destinies have long been tied together. It's just that I suddenly added such a heavy burden to you. I'm sorry. I always wanted you to be more relaxed, but you're always busy wherever you go. Ah Xiao, don't say that. I like it. I'm willing. Cough cough. Uncle Wu's cough interrupted the conversation between the two. Xiao Xiao saw that Uncle Wu had already brought Xiao Yin over. He immediately pulled Xiao Yin over. Son, let's go. We're going back to the human world. But isn't the coronation ceremony in 3 days? Xiao Yin asked curiously. Yinran squatted down and said to Xiao Yin, Father and mother can't stay here yet. The coronation ceremony has to wait. Son, come back with us to the human world first. We'll come back when you grow up, okay? As they were talking, they saw a crowd outside the door. The Devil Lord's guard captain walked in and bowed to Xiao Xiao and Yinran. Crown Prince, Crown Princess, the Devil Lord sent us to protect you. Xiao Xiao walked out of the door and saw that the entire Crown Prince's palace was surrounded like a hornet's nest. He angrily shouted, Are you spying on us? The guard captain hurriedly knelt down. Your Highness, please calm down. This is the Devil Lord's order. We don't dare to disobey. As long as you're successfully coronated in 3 days, you'll be our master from now on. Xiao Xiao was exasperated. This stubborn royal father. He slammed the door and looked at Yinran, Xiao Yin and Uncle Wu. All the servants of the Crown Prince's palace had left. There were only the 4 of them in the palace. Xiao Xiao didn't expect his father to be so insistent. It seemed that the poisoning and the conspiracy against him had really hit him hard. After a while, lobbyists came to the Crown Prince's palace. One by one, the ministers lined up at the door and entered one after another. Xiao Zhao's ears were growing calluses from listening to one speech after another. He lazily sat on the Crown Prince's chair, his fingers gently tapping the back of the chair. So it feels like I've done the wrong thing by helping the devil realm quell the chaos. If I hadn't done anything, you wouldn't have sung my praises and insisted that I be the devil king, right? The minister hurriedly shook his head. What we mean is that Your Highness the Crown Prince has already won the hearts of the people. The people are most convinced that you're the Devil Lord. This is a matter of course. Furthermore, the Devil Lord is supreme in the entire devil realm. You will definitely have the freedom you desire. You will also have us, your subordinates, to help you with those trivial matters. You only need to occasionally approve the memorials. The old official's face was already smiling like a morning glory. Do you think I'm a 3-year-old child? There are so many things in the demon world. How can I just approve memorials? Just looking at the Crown Princess, I know how troublesome it is to manage. Don't dig a hole for me. I definitely won't be the Devil Lord. Chapter 375. This was a complete breakdown of negotiations. In the end, Xiao Xiao directly rejected the person who came and did not allow him to enter again. He sat in the hall angrily and said to Yinran, No, we can force our way in. With our abilities, I don't believe we can't get out. Unexpectedly, the guard captain at the door said, The Devil King said that if the Crown Prince doesn't ascend the throne in 3 days, he will kill us all. You. Xiao Xiao gritted his teeth and said, How did my father become such a tyrannical person? The atmosphere in the Crown Prince's hall dropped to a freezing point. Only Xiao Xiao was holding the letter and carefully reading it. Just like that, They endured until the next night. Xiao Xiao and Yanran decided to disguise themselves and sneak away at night. They believed that their father would not be so cruel as to kill people. As long as they left, everything would return to normal. Xiao Xiao asked Uncle Wu to stay first and pretend that they were still there. The three of them used a camouflage to leave. Everyone outside the Crown Prince's hall was on guard to prevent their new Devil King from forcing his way out. The guard captain personally stood guard at the door. He didn't want to lose his head. After the three Crown Princes' formal attire arrived, Xiao Xiao and Yanran pretended to accept it but didn't wear it. However, Xiao Yun was very interested. He put on the formal attire and looked at himself in the mirror in his room for a long time. When the moon hung above the Crown Prince's hall, and the three were ready to leave, Xiao Xiao and Yanran changed back to modern clothes. Xiao Yun came out wearing the Crown Prince's attire. He bowed deeply to Xiao Xiao and Yanran. Father, mother, I want to stay in the demon world. I like the demon world more than the human world. I think I can grow better here. I won't go back with you. Yanran was shocked. Son, you are still so young. You want to be separated from us? Xiao Xiao was also in disbelief. Son, how can you not grow up with your parents? Father, weren't you also sent to the human world when you were young? I have already grown up. Don't worry. Grandfather and grandmother are here to take care of me. There are also these ministers. I want to learn how to rule a country. This is something you can't learn in the human world. Just agree. Yanran looked at her mature and sensible son with a serious and solemn face. Her eyebrows slightly raised. Two peach blossom eyes similar to Xiao Xiao's flashed with wisdom. Xiao Xiao suddenly felt a pain in his heart. This son of his was too sensible. He knew that he would definitely disappoint the Devil King if he escaped back to the human world. And he couldn't explain it to the ministers. And his son had to shoulder such a young age. After crying for a while, Xiao Xiao patted Xiao Xiao's back. Father, you should leave quickly. Otherwise it will be too late. Yanran pulled her son into her arms. Her eyes were also filled with tears. She fiercely kissed her son twice. When I was young, mother was also trained from a young age. Son, I believe you can do it. Xiao Xiao wiped the tears in his eyes and said to Xiao Yin, Son, we will come back to see you in a while. He gave the totem to Xiao Yin. You have to keep this well. It can save your life. Then he turned to Uncle Wu and said, Uncle Wu, Xiao Yun was raised by you. Now, can I trouble you to stay in the devil world and continue to take care of him? Uncle Wu nodded. Tears flashed in his eyes. Uncle Wu called in a young man called Wu Hao from outside the door. Your Highness, this is my relative's child. His name is Wu Hao. He is smart and quick-witted. In the future, let him serve you and the Crown Princess. Wu Hao hurriedly knelt down. Crown Prince, Crown Princess, before this, Uncle Wu has already taught me all the arrangements in the human world. I will do my best to serve you. He went forward to carry the 3 big bags and waited at the side. Xiao Xiao and Yanran fiercely hugged Xiao Yun one last time. At this moment, Xiao Yun's eyes flashed with tears. He hugged Yanran and refused to let go. After a while, he ran back to his room and closed the door. It was late at night. The 3 of them came to the Eagle Beak Cliff on the road from the Devil World to the human world. Looking at the Devil Palace in the dark, they were reluctant to leave. Xiao, how about? Yanran was about to say something when Xiao Xiao picked her up. In order not to make us regret it, don't say anything. Then he jumped directly off the Eagle Beak Cliff. Wu Hao followed closely behind. The 3 of them landed directly at the back of the mountain. The 2 turned on their mobile phones. Countless calls and messages came in like a tide. Xiao Xiao saw that most of them were from Zhang Dayang. He was about to return the call when Zhang Dayang's phone came in. His voice was about to explode from the phone. Brother Qiao, my ancestor, my boss, my chairman, you finally answered the phone. I have nothing left to live for. Tomorrow, our company will go public and ring the bell. If you don't appear, your listing qualification will be cancelled. Xiao Xiao took the phone a little farther away. What are you talking about? Listing, Star Entertainment will be listed tomorrow. You, the chairman, need to ring the bell. If I don't ring the bell, I will be disqualified? Don't talk nonsense. Can't you have some common sense? Xiao Xiao said disapprovingly. That's because you left out a signature when you signed it. I imitated your handwriting to sign it. Now we have to fill in the blanks. Otherwise, we'll be done for if they find out. Zhang Daong was almost shouting himself hoarse over the phone. Okay. I'll sign it right away. Where are you? Xiao Xiao really didn't have any temper with Zhang Daong. I'm in Huanghai City. There are only 6 hours before the listing. The bell will ring at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. You must be there before 8 o'clock in the morning. I still have other things to do. Hurry up, I'll hang up first. AI. Xiao Xiao hadn't finished speaking when Zhang Daong had already hung up. He turned to look at Yin Ran. Ran, are we in Nanchuan now? Yin Ran nodded and looked at the familiar back mountain. It was the place where they had experienced countless hardships. Then you heard what Zhang Daong said just now. He wants me to reach Huanghai before 8 o'clock tomorrow morning? Yin Ran nodded seriously. That's what he said. F*CK. He's playing with me. At this moment, Wu Hao had already jumped out. Young master, I've checked. Right now, there's only one transport plane flying to the Yellow Sea. It will take off in 2 hours. If we can catch this plane, we can arrive before 8 o'clock. You're good. You haven't been to the human world yet. But you already know how to adapt to the rules of the human world. Xiao Xiao patted Wu Hao's shoulder approvingly. Then let's go. What are you waiting for? Wu Hao then said hesitantly. But this requires you and the Crown Princess to secretly board that plane. I've already sent you and the Crown Princess the exact location of the helipad. Leave everything to me. I'll arrange everything else. Go and come back early. Xiao Xiao and Yin Ran looked at each other. Without any hesitation, they quickly headed to the address Wu Hao gave them. When the two finally arrived at the airport, the plane was still loading and had yet to take off. Xiao Xiao went to scout and found that the transport plane was filled with boxes of goods. Some of them were large boxes, while others were small alleys. He didn't want to be separated from Yin Ran, so he found an extremely large box. After prying it open, the two of them crawled into the wooden box. But to their surprise, the wooden box was filled with durians. Xiao Xiao gritted his teeth and pushed aside a durian under his butt. He silently recited the incantation and activated the guard seal, enveloping him and Yin Ran in this narrow space. Yin Ran pinched her nose. Xiao, did you choose the wrong place? Xiao Xiao said embarrassedly. Ran, this box is the biggest. Let's endure it for a few hours. Thus, the two of them pinched their noses and nestled in the box. After a long while the plane finally took off. The roar of the plane almost deafened the two of them. The two of them covered their ears and couldn't help but laugh when they saw their sorry state. To think that two cultivators like them would actually have such a sullen time. Xiao Xiao kissed Yinran's lips. Ran, it seems like I still need to cultivate more and strive to isolate the sound and smell. Before that, let's divert our attention. The depth of love was really amazing. The noise and smell were covered by the touch of lips and tongues. And the throbbing between the two of them became the most beautiful music. Ran, I can't smell durian at all now. It's all the lavender fragrance on your body. Xiao Xiao sniffed Yinran's neck. Yinran was tickled by him. Her body twisted and turned, making the narrow space even narrower. Suddenly, they heard a bang, as if something had exploded. The two of them were stunned. It seems to be from your side, Xiao. Let me see. Xiao Xiao turned his head with difficulty. Behind him, two durians that had clearly been crushed were already exposed. The fresh and juicy flesh inside was already exposed, and the smell of durians in the wooden box was even more intense. Yinran wailed. When we reach the Yellow Sea, can we take a shower first? Xiao Xiao gritted his teeth and said, That's what I was thinking. He took out his phone with difficulty and sent a voice message to Zhang Daong. I'll be there before 8 o'clock. Find a place where Yinran and I can take a shower and change our clothes. Zhang Daong immediately replied with a few question marks, followed by a long string of voice messages. His tone was simply exasperated. Brother Qiao, I'm begging you. If you're not satisfied, can you wait until you ring the bell? After that he sent a kneeling and begging sticker. Xiao Zhao's eyes began to emit fire from Zhang Daong's anger. Yinran snatched his phone and said, Our clothes are dirty. If we don't take a shower, It will ruin your dream of owning a mine at home. Zhang Dayang's tone immediately improved. Sister-in-law, I got it. Get ready immediately. I'll clear all the obstacles on the road to owning a mine at home. I'm just waiting for you and Brother Qiao to ring the bell. Then he sent a sticker of standing still and saluting. Xiao Xiao pouted. Aran, why are you so amazing? You only said one sentence, and he understood. Why is it that after talking for so long, he always misunderstands me? Am I so unsatisfied in their eyes? Yinran threw him a glance. You're the same in my eyes. Xiao Xiao was immediately dissatisfied. Every time, I'm squeezed dry by you before you're willing to give up. Clearly you're the one. After saying that, Xiao Xiao's hands and feet began to move again. Puff, puff, puff. The box full of durians couldn't stand the two's mischief anymore. One by one they all exploded. Xiao Xiao and Yinran had to block their nostrils. After the plane stopped, Yinran threw a handful of banknotes into the box. When no one was looking, the two climbed out of the box. In the early hours of the morning, a group of porters came around the plane and began to unload. The smell of durians permeated the cabin of the plane and made them tumble. The two people with the smell of durians finally came to a hotel next to the exchange. Zhang Dayang, with two dark circles under his eyes, was about to rush up and give Xiao Xiao a hug. But before he could get close to 2 meters, he immediately turned around, covered his nose and said, Brother Qiao, sister-in-law, you rest for a while, I'll come back later. At 9 o'clock sharp in the stock exchange, Xiao Xiao, Yinran, Zhang Dayang, Jing Shu and others stood in front of a gong that was half the height of a person. With the countdown of 10 seconds on the big screen, they waved their hands together and sounded the first sound of Star Entertainment's listing. The big screen showed, Congratulations to Star Entertainment's successful listing on the main board of the SC. Zhang Dayang threw the club into the sky and excitedly rushed into Qiao Zhao's arms. Brother Qiao, I love you. My family finally has a mine. And that you're tuning in to the Earbook Haven YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.